What?
I will explain that in a minute.
Okay.
I just went live. But welcome everyone. This is On Just Restart. I am joined by Coloco from Nintendo Game Talk. He's joining us just like from last week. The link to his channel is in the description below, as well as Brandon from What About Nintendo. The link to his channel is also in the description below. And this is a Nintendo podcast. We do it every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And this time we are talking about, yes, Nintendo in 2019. This is our big Nintendo 2019 predictions discussion. We're gonna be going on a Christmas break next week, so this one's gonna be a big one to make up for that. And we're gonna go ham. We're gonna go deep into all of our expectations and wishes and such for Nintendo in 2019. But before we jump into that, because we're gonna let people flow in, this is a live stream discussion and such. Coloco, you were asking me about the restream Twitch YouTube thing, right?
Yeah, what was that about?
So like you can I don't know if you've heard of Restream, but Restream is like this thing that you can, because when you stream normally you have to get like the server URL thing and put it on OBS or something like that. You can get that server key from Restream, and you can have your stream go to different websites like Twitch and Mixer and YouTube all at the same time. I don't do that anymore because I want to focus on just one chat, because I used to do that between Twitch and YouTube, and whenever I would get someone on Twitch, I would just never pay attention to them. So now I just focus on one. But I'm trying to do game streams on Twitch now, so I just go to my Restream and I switch which one I'm actually going to stream on, rather than take the server key, change it every single time on OBS, because that would be even more work. But sometimes I forget, and I forget to switch which one I'm going to stream on.
Okay, so when you stream using Twitch, so you're saying you stream only using Twitch then?
When I'm playing like stream games on Twitch, right? But like the discussions and stuff like that, like more of the discussion stuff or like reactions and things like that, I'm gonna stream on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Cool. How many? Just out of curiosity, how many people do you have on Twitch?
On Twitch? 20,000.
What? Seriously?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I wish. Like 37, 38, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I haven't really been doing it. I'm trying to start it now, have it be like that second pillar for my content creation career.
Right.
But it's still in its infancy. But yeah, let's see if there's people in the chat yet. Oh, I see quite a few people actually.
Welcome, people.
Hello there, Lazy James. Ricky Traylon, hello. Them Demo, or Them Demo, however you want me to pronounce it. How you doing? I am also very hype. Shuntaro Furukawa, hey, how's it going, man? DK Smash, what are you saying here? The barrel smashing party crashing leader of the bunch, and you know him well, is back. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, I'm doing very good. Thank you. I'm doing very good. Yeah, that's actually a normal response. Thank you very much for asking. How are you doing, Brandon? I don't think you said I asked you anything at all.
No, I'm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us Shuntaro Furukawa himself.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
The president of Nintendo himself is here because he wants to see how off Nintendo fans are about what is actually going to happen for Nintendo in 2019. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really ask either of you guys how you doing. Are you guys well? Are you guys healthy? Are you guys excited? Hyped?
I have 3 days to live. Oh no. No, I'm
you can
fine.
beat Majora's Mask in that time at least.
That's true. I could save the world.
Yeah.
But no, I'm doing great. Ready to get in the discussion. Feeling good.
I'm still trying to finish Smash and Pokemon Let's Go so I can dive into like the flood of indie games. Well, I'm with the bulk of Smash is what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, like never. But I'm with trying to look up at this flood of indie games that I'm looking at the eShop, and they all look amazing. And I'm just like looking. I'm like, how am I gonna get to this? There's just too many games.
I feel you. I just got Celeste, and I haven't. I bought it last week, and I haven't touched it. I've just been too busy with other games and other things, and
oh, it's so good, man. Oh, it's so incredible. It's the only game where I have died. I think it's at 3,000. It's either 3 or 5,000 times. Oh yeah, 3 or 5,000 times I've died in that game, but it's still awesome. It's like not frustrating. Like it is frustrating, but it's still worth it, man. Just get ready to die a lot.
Right? Yeah, I'm already doing that in Hollow Knight. Gosh, I played that today.
Hollow Knight's a little more frustrating.
Played that today, and it was I died over and over and
I love it.
Again.
I love it, but it's the way they built that game, the way that when you die and how I don't know if you played it, Andres, but the way that you have to like backtrack.
Hollow Knight or Celeste? I've played Celeste like crazy.
Hollow Knight.
I haven't played Hollow Knight yet.
Hollow Knight's amazing, but it has that one thing with it that if you die most of the time in a bad area, you have to backtrack so much.
Yep.
And it just takes. Oh god.
If you get stuck in that bad area, you pretty much have to beat it because you just a lot of times you can't go in. Like if there's this boss is spread around just randomly. If you get killed by a boss, to get your soul back, which contains your money and stuff, you have to go back in that boss. So pretty much you have to beat it, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many times it takes.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up that because I've also been playing Smash and Pokemon. I've been trying to balance the two, and I would love to really get into Smash because I'm starting to get into the characters. Like I love King K. Rool now. I've been playtesting and labbing Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont, and they're exactly the same. I'm gonna make a video on that later. But like I've been getting into the characters, so that's really cool. And then I've also been trying to get back into Pokemon. I still have a couple more badges to get, and then. Before Pokemon came out, I was still going through Dark Souls. I went back to Dark Souls like a day ago, and I got deep into this area with a whole bunch of skeletons that wouldn't die. They were like immortal, which is, I don't know how that, I don't know, it was ridiculous. And then I beat a boss, and I was like, damn, good, I'm good. And then there was like this dark area, I couldn't see anything, but I saw a treasure, so I was walking around, and then I couldn't see where I was going because it was like pitch black, like intentionally, by design, and then I fell down and died. And
Oof.
I have to go all the way back through all these immortal skeletons and booby traps just to get like the 15,000 souls I gathered. So I took a break after that because like, okay, this is my first time back, and I just
that's the way Hollow Knight is. You have to go back to where you died, otherwise you lose all your money, and you can't. There's some other things that you can like gain. And that you can't charge up as much.
And it's not easy. So even on your way back, you most likely will die, and so you lose all that stuff.
And if you don't have a map,
so many times.
If you don't have a map and you don't remember where you went, good luck.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So like, like you, Coloco, I'm trying to beat these games because 2019's right around the corner, and there's going to be a lot of games coming, I think. I actually saw 77-3R suggesting that the early part of 2019 is going to be a little barren, kind of like 2018. I'm not of the same frame of mind, but I mean, I can see maybe like first couple of months not being as hype as the later half. I think it's gonna be like a steady lead up. Like the January probably is just gonna be the Mario Deluxe thing, which
it's No More Heroes, isn't it? January's No More Heroes.
Travis Strikes Back again is coming in January, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is technically an indie game, so some people don't take indie games that seriously. Yeah. But
some people are not us, because we know the awesomeness of indie games.
Yeah. And actually, with Travis Strikes Back coming soon, we got an interview from Suda51 essentially soft confirming No More Heroes 3. He's saying he's already writing the script for it, but it kind of, like, it hasn't been approved yet. Like, you need to get a publisher, and they need to get the budget to actually develop the whole game. But he's writing the script for No More Heroes 3, and it's going to be, like, over the top. Like, they're going to take it to a whole other level of, like, ambition and scope. Like the enemies are going to be, like, from aliens or something, and that's why we're getting Travis Strikes Back, because he's going to use this game as an opportunity to power up Travis. So he's going to be more than just a guy with a beam sword, right? He's going to be a lot stronger with more powers. So it's kind of interesting. And I think if Travis Strikes Back is successful, that's what they said. If it's successful, there will be a No More Heroes 3. So fingers crossed.
I think it'll do well. I think it'll do very well.
Everything does well on the Switch, so I'm also pretty confident about that. But let me check the chat, and then let's really go hard into what we're already touching on it, right? We're scratching the surface here. But let me see. Ricky Treeland, there is a rumor about Smash DLC. I heard that a Dragon Quest character has a fair bit of likelihood, as opposed to all of the other rumors beforehand, like all of the stuff coming from Vergaben and what's his face, Hitagi. I am putting minimal stock in them because all of their DLC knowledge has proven false with the Joker coming into the picture, and they've even come out and said that the information they had beforehand was they were misled intentionally. So they even came out and said that, hey, we don't really know what's going on here. And then other people have come out and said that barely anyone knows about who the DLC actually is, and then the Joker, like, no one
kind
saw that coming.
Confirmed that, yeah.
So I'm not putting too much stock in any rumors, but if it's like a new one, Dragon Quest character kind of makes sense. That's all I've been hearing recently. But
I heard something else. I saw something on Reset Era. It was another rumor. The Okami Wolf.
Oh, that'd be good. I would like to see that.
That'd be cool.
Because that's been in like a bunch of Nintendo systems. I mean, that's like the moveset would be pretty cool, I think. You know,
that's definitely a character that I don't think people would see coming, but would be a great fit.
Yeah, I don't know. No one would see. Well, maybe now if that rumor starts to spread,
Right.
but
Yeah,
I'd take it. That'd be pretty hype.
Yeah, definitely. I might be coming up with like an updated predictions for the final 4 characters, but I'm not feeling Rayman or Geno anymore. But I am still feeling Banjo because there are rare spirits within the data. Why would Nintendo get rights to rare spirits in the data for Smash Bros. If they weren't going to do something with that? I'm feeling Banjo, and he's kind of... If Joker can happen, so can Banjo, I think.
Right.
So I'm still feeling Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Bros. As DLC, and now I'm thinking maybe Silex. But we'll talk about that for another day, because... Well, I mean, we could get into it, because that's a lot of this DLC is going to come out in 2019, right? So we can still talk about it. That still counts. But let me just
So if anything, we'll get pretty much all the DLC in 2019 except for one, right?
Probably, yeah.
I would say so, yeah, actually.
2020?
Yeah, maybe just one more in February. In February 2020, that would be it. So Challenger packs 1 through 4, along with Piranha Plant, are going to come out throughout this year.
Dude, it's going to sell so much. I doubt they're going to stop there. There's going to be a Challenger pack.
I think there's going to be a season pass too, because like I think it's fairly likely at this point that Rex and Pyra are not going to be in the first pack, because when you buy the pack, you get a Rex Mii costume. Like, why would they give you a Rex Mii costume, you know, when you buy the pack? Like, I feel like they wouldn't do that and then give you Rex and Pyra after being apologetic about not having it, and say, here, take this, you know, as just, you know, a consolation, right? Like, I think Rex and Pyra aren't in this pack, but I do think they're really popular. There's a high demand for them. So Season 2, I think, makes sense. On top of that, Shunta Furukawa, you said it yourself, you're in the chat. A few weeks ago, during one of your investors meetings, you said that, hey, look, we're going to get our big games, our big platform games, we're going to make sure that they have DLC supporting them in the long run. So I think Smash Brothers is going to be supported for a while beyond the first year. I mean, if you look at the way the game is playing, like, they have, like, all these updates and events coming on. Like, it feels very much like Splatoon, where it's set up so where you can see updates on events and news for the game. So to me, it seems like it's all built and designed to be something that's going to be expanded upon for a while, right? So, yeah, I don't think this season pass is the end.
Right. I definitely hope so, because Rex and Pyra, that's like one of the big ones for me. So if they came in a season pack 2, that'd be incredible. Hopefully Banjo gets in the first one though, because I just can't. I need one of the two. I just can't keep waiting.
You need either Banjo or who else?
Rex and Pyra, or just Rex or whatever. You know.
Yeah. Let me. You guys keep saying stuff. I can't keep up. I hate you guys. I'm just kidding. But Brandon the Stallion, what about Mario Baseball on Switch? That's actually, I do think there's gonna be one more Mario title. What do you guys think? What kind of Mario titles do you guys think we'll see in 2019?
I think maybe we'll get some Odyssey DLC. I feel like maybe that's what they want to do with Mario. Because I feel like that's what a lot of people really want. And I feel like they've been kind of suggesting maybe they were working on that. And I feel like there's been a lot of rumors, you know, with people wanting like Sunshine DLC and people maybe wanting like a booze mansion, because we don't have any booze or anything in there. So I don't know. I feel like maybe they'll give us some Mario Odyssey DLC instead of a new Mario game.
Yeah, I think so too. It's still selling too well. to introduce another 3D Mario game. If anything, maybe like a Mario Maker, 2 or something like that. But
that'd be cool.
But besides that, I don't think it's they don't need another 3D Mario. At least not right now. Odyssey's still selling too well. I think maybe 2021 is the soonest that we could see like another Mario and another Zelda. I think 2020 is still too. I mean, these games came, like Zelda came out a year and a half ago, and it's still charting. It's crazy,
right?
So they don't need it.
We might get some Mario Kart 8 DLC as well. So 2 Mario DLCs would definitely be enough.
Okay, I could see that. I think a Mario Sports title also maybe makes sense. I mean, I was also thinking maybe a Mario Maker like you said, Coloco, but we're getting a 2D Mario game technically in January, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if a Mario Maker 2 or 0 or Port or whatever is in the work, Mario Maker something, I think that's going to happen maybe a year or 2 from now because we're getting a 2D Mario game this year. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Mario Strikers or a Mario Baseball this year.
Strikers would be fun.
But also, if we do, I've also been thinking about getting. I made a video like a month or so ago after we got that news from Shuntaro saying that they're going to support their big titles with DLC. For the 2 games I was talking about in particular were both Mario Kart and Mario Odyssey, the 2 best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
The two best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch that don't have paid DLC, which is kind of weird.
And do you remember when the Switch was not even out and how many people criticized the fact that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was going to be, or Mario Kart 8 was going to be re-released on the Switch, and how some people were even saying that it wasn't going to sell a lot? You remember that?
Most people underestimate Mario Kart.
Yeah,
the power of Mario Kart.
They didn't know what they were talking about. Unfortunately, they did not. And I love the deluxe version. Yes, I wish there was more Grand Prix or something. A little bit more for me as a returning player because I had it on Wii U. But I don't regret my purchase. I still put in at least 100 hours into that game, and it's always a game I can go back to and play with friends or myself. The time trials are still there. And I'm not someone who likes the battle mode that much, I guess. But I just like racing on the Switch because, one, the graphics are a little better. Right, 1080p is very, very appreciated, and the HD Rumble feels really good.
It does feel really good.
It feels really good.
I like that.
You can feel the texture of the road, the pavement. I love the feel of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But I do want there to be more tracks. So if they could add a couple more Grand Prix with DLC, I would eat that up in a heartbeat.
Put a Splatoon track in there. That would be kind of cool.
Not just battle, but that would be really cool.
But I actually really enjoy the battle mode. The problem is whenever I have anybody here, all they want to do is race, and we'll get on battle mode and they'll have they'll have fun, but then they'll be like, yeah, let's get back to racing. I'm like, I actually really enjoy the battle mode.
I think part of the problem for me is that I also don't have enough people to play battle mode with.
I just play it online. I stream it. Play it online with a ton of people.
It's not the same. It's not the same to me. I need that social element to it. I really enjoyed Smash Bros. This weekend. I went over with some friends and I had a great time playing Smash Bros. It was fantastic. And I had friends over the weekend before and it was great. So, that social element is something I really appreciate, and I know online gaming is becoming more and more prevalent, but that's something that's really, really important to me. But
one thing I wanted to say real quick about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that I absolutely love this option they put in there. And as a father, no, I hate when people as a father, no, but my kid, he's 3, so he can't play these games that need a lot of dexterity and eye-hand coordination. But when it comes to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they put in this mode where it plays itself, but he could still kind of guide it, and that's so cool that they put that in this game, for smaller kids that still want to play with the adults, and I just feel like that. I love that option in that game.
I love it because when I let my younger brothers play, I don't have to take the controller from them and finish the race because it doesn't auto finish.
Exactly. That's also a great thing about it, because before we would be like, okay, no, you need to go forward. Everybody's already done, and we're all just saying, like, give me the controller. I'll finish it for you.
Wow. So I see Brandon Stallings asking, he said, "Hey Andres, do you think we'll get Mario Kart 9 on Switch soon? It's coming on 4 years since an actual new Mario Kart game. I don't think we're going to see a Mario Kart game anytime soon. I think what we're going to see is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC.
Yeah, plus the phone game.
Yeah, and then there is Mario Kart Tour coming for mobile. And that's going to be a 2019 thing. First official prediction: Mario Kart Tour reveal in 2019, first half of 2019.
Yeah, I think that's semi-confirmed. I think they said they were going to talk about it in 2019.
What? Are you predicting facts? Oh.
Yeah, you might be.
Pretty safe predictions, I guess. I predict E3 will be this year, and the Nintendo will be there.
I predict it'll be in June. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. I predict there will be memes. New memes will be created in 2019.
Whoa.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
Well, I mean, I gotta be a little bold, right? So, but we have a lot to talk about, and I know wasn't sure if I should have any structure here. I guess I don't really need structure here, but maybe we should just kind of go in a circle and have like different random predictions we have. Do you guys want to do it like that, or do you want to kind of go in chronological order, or how do you guys want to handle this?
I think the best way to cover everything would be probably to go in chronological order about the games we know about and when we think things are going to come out, and just talking about things that way. Okay,
so then let's talk about the first thing that people are already starting to drum up interest in. A January Nintendo Direct. With the lack of a reveal for Metroid anything at the Game Awards, right? Smash, it was all Smash, and it kind of makes sense now because they want to focus on Smash because it was just coming out then. But we know that Yoshi and Fire Emblem and Daemon X Machina are in the works. It's why I believe that those games are going to be coming out in the first half of 2019. But we also know that Animal Crossing is confirmed for 2019. We don't know when. We know Luigi's Mansion 3 is confirmed for 2019. We don't know when. Pokemon Gen 8 is also confirmed for 2019. Normally, the Pokemon games come out in November. But, I mean, I'll talk about exactly what I think about that. But, those are all kind of the things that are in the works. We know Pikmin has been in development forever. And it's been almost done since 2015. There's the rumors for Star Fox Racing, and Bayonetta 3 is also confirmed to be in development, but we don't know when it's coming out. I think I pretty much covered all the big things that are like the elements, but we don't know where they're fitting in. We don't know if there's any new elements in there. There's a Skyward Sword HD rumor as well, and the Metroid Trilogy HD rumor as well. Is there any other elements out there that we don't, from Nintendo at least? Because there's also Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and Travis Strikes Back's coming in January.
Did you mention that the Star Fox Racing game could potentially get announced?
I brought it up as one of the rumors. It's in there's a rumor of it being in development, I think. Right. I think I did. But yeah, so what do you guys think about the January Direct? Do you think it's happening?
Well, I mean, yes. I actually have a video planned tomorrow to give full in depth, but I'll go in depth here because there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna see both or not see it, whatever. It's minor spoilers for the video, but it's fine. Yes, I think there will definitely be a January Direct. The past 2 years they've been a January Direct, and it's been the second Thursday the second Thursday of the month. So I definitely think that this year is going to be a Direct on that same Thursday, which I believe is the 10th. Because last year it was the 11th, and the year before that we had the Switch presentation on the 12th. All of those are Thursdays. There's usually Direct on Thursday. So, and as you said, we have a lot of games that we need release dates and more footage for. Like Fire Emblem, we don't know much about that. We've seen one trailer for it. It didn't really reveal that much. And that's coming out spring, so we need to know about that. We need to we don't really need to know more about Yoshi, but we need a release date. Daemon X Machina, we can learn some more stuff about that. So there's stuff that they can definitely talk about. And, I mean, even last year when there wasn't that much coming out in spring, we got a mini Direct. So I definitely think, second Thursday of January is when we'll get it.
Okay. Where are you feeling, Coloco? You feeling a January Direct around that time? I'm in agreement, by the way, Brandon. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think for sure. But I think maybe January Direct is going to be just about stuff we already know. I don't think there's going to be any surprises. I don't think so. I
think there'll be surprises, but I don't think there'll be anything for example, I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to get a full blowout then.
No, because I mean, think about we got. When did we first hear about Smash? Wasn't it like in June or something?
I think it was March, actually.
March,
yeah.
And then
it was just the inkling teaser with the fire and the silhouettes.
Yeah, and it came out the same year. So who knows what these guys got planned, man? I want to say like, oh yeah, I just have no idea because it's been so crazy.
Yeah.
The past like the Switch's lifespan has been a lot of surprises to it. Has had a lot more surprises than I would say any other Nintendo system. You know, like yet, and I think this year's not going to be any different. We've already know about all the other large games coming out, and already with what we know confirmed for 2019, they could pretty much fill out most of the months with one large release.
Yep,
or most of it. But I think at this point, with the momentum that the Switch had, especially now in this holiday season, I think they could go a little bit farther. I think it doesn't have to be just one large release a month. They could do more now. They can have a couple of large releases a month, because now there's what 24 million plus Switch owners. Probably after the holidays, it'll be like.
I agree. I think for example, January. It wouldn't shock me if Nintendo had something more beyond just Mario Bros. Deluxe.
Yeah, me neither.
I think if they have like a big title in a month, they could potentially have like a smaller title in that month. Like for example, Town, which we know Game Freak is making. I can see Town coming out in the same month as, say, for example, Fire Emblem or Luigi's Mansion 3. Like I could see like that happening.
Yeah, and that's what I think too. I mean that we're gonna get a lot of surprises, but I think a lot of the stuff that we know is coming out, it's gonna be early already. I mean, you said it, Brandon, all the games. So I think we're gonna get a lot of that stuff early on, and then surprises will come later on in the year.
Yeah, I agree. We probably won't see anything like Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3. I was just talking about this when I was live streaming Hollow Knight earlier. I was like, no, that doesn't make much sense, because I feel like the early stuff, they don't usually show off anything too big. I mean, the Switch presentation, they show off Mario Odyssey.
But it was a release of the console.
Yeah, that was different, because it was like the big release of the console.
But last year we only got a Direct Mini. We didn't even get
That's true. We didn't get a full Direct. So
I think this year we'll get a full Direct.
Yeah, but I think there's enough for a full Direct now.
But January is not going to be, an E3 2.0. No. And I don't think we're going to get Smash DLC in January. Like, I mean, Piranha Plant. We're kind of backed up, right? Like, if anything, we see gameplay for Joker in January. Like, in terms of Smash, I think the most we can get is we get a Persona 5 port announcement, and we see footage for Joker in Smash Bros. But I feel like that might even be a ways off, because they may want to focus on Piranha Plant first, because that's coming out in February.
Yeah, I assume we'd probably get more in-depth look at Piranha Plant in a release date.
Right, so then maybe if we see Joker gameplay, maybe that could be in March.
Yeah. I definitely think the second Direct of the year is when they're going to go ham with further into the year teasers and stuff. But I think January is when they focus on what's coming out in the spring, release dates. A few surprises, like we got Dark Souls last year, and we got a couple of other third-party smaller games, and so we'll get stuff. We'll get some surprises, but it's not going to be anything huge.
I think we're going to see a Persona 5 port at some point this year. It'll be announced at some point in the first half. I don't know if it'll be announced in January, but I think it'll be announced at some point this year. I think that's definitely happening.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
I mean, it just makes sense with Joker coming with the Smash DLC. So
it has to. They have to have this.
I mean, the game came out on PS3, so it's not like it's not even a graphical issue. Like,
would it be kind of strange though if
I think it's strange that they didn't announce a port.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If that would be weird if like we never get. Well, I guess we're getting Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, but I mean it's a PlayStation version. But I don't think that they had that planned when they made Cloud into Smash Brothers like 2 years ago. I don't think they were saying we're putting Cloud in here because we're getting Final Fantasy VII on the Nintendo Switch. I think they were thinking we're going to eventually port the Final Fantasy remake on also to the Nintendo console, and that's why we're getting Cloud on here. I don't know, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to have Cloud on there, which maybe that's the whole point, is just to put something on there no one expected, and it doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, I think there's a reason behind it, just like there's a reason behind Joker.
I just think, in regards to Cloud, like, we got Cloud back on Smash Wii U. This is like at this point like 3 years ago. So, and we haven't gotten, we're only now getting Final Fantasy ports, you know. So, and Final Fantasy VII Remake is years off. We know they basically had to restart development not too long ago.
Right.
I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that could be more a problem of that game's specific development than the plans that they had for that game and where it was going to be released.
It's also
I'm just saying it's hard to say what it meant because we haven't seen what it may have been that, right? Like, we all kind of thought that. It's just, I can't say with confidence. I can't agree with confidence that that's the case because we haven't seen it really materialize anything yet. It's not even confirmed for Switch yet.
What about Pikmin 4?
Oh, that game.
It already came out in Taiwan.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Taiwan. I thought you were going to say the 3DS game. No, that can't be.
Yeah, I mean, Shigeru Miyamoto confirmed that it was late into development back in 2015.
Yeah, September 8th, 2015. Pikmin 4 is very close to completion.
They could have made Pikmin 5 by now. That's how long it's been.
And then in July 7, 2016, so this is Shigeru Miyamoto. So when we were in development, we have to create a list of priorities, and it has been hard to kind of fit that into the list, but we're hopefully starting to see that on the list now. What? And then in June 14, 2017, we can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that's all we can confirm at the present. What is going on with this game?
I wonder if they scrapped it and remade it, or they changed the engine. I wonder if maybe they switched it over to Unreal Engine 4 because they, are planning. The Unreal Engine 4 works so well with the Switch. Maybe they had it on a engine that worked better with the Wii U, and they didn't want to port that over to the Switch, and they just wanted to rebuild it on a different engine because the Wii U engines don't port well. I mean, just look at Breath of the Wild. That game still has huge issues, and it really shouldn't on the Switch. So I wonder if that's also Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the X engine. It has issues as well. So I wonder if they just wanted to remake it with a different engine, or maybe they just wanted to upgrade the visuals, or I don't know. Or maybe they had like gamepad functionality and they had to take that out. There's a lot of different things they could have done. That's why it's taking longer.
I have no freaking clue what's happening with Pikmin 4. I wish I could give like a solid answer. Like, I almost feel like I just don't know. It doesn't make any sense, really. I feel like it's just been in a cabinet somewhere. They're just kind of saving it for a rainy day.
Right.
But at the same time, like, 2018 could have had another release or two.
Yeah,
right?
It could have.
And then they didn't, like... So if they had a game... So you would assume that Pikmin 4 has been done, right? Assuming that nothing bad happened in development. And based off all the quotes from Shigeru Miyamoto, nothing bad has happened to the game, right? It's been fine. So then you would assume it's been ready for a while, yet... In 2018, it looked like they kind of needed a slot or two to be filled, and they had, supposedly Pikmin 4 has been kind of ready. They didn't use it. So,
yeah, that's kind of why I'm thinking it's not quite as ready as we're thinking it is. I think there's still some kind of optimizations or something that they've been doing to get that game.
I don't know. That's too long, man. I know, like, I know film companies do this. Like, they'll have films completed, done. And they just won't release it, and I'm just waiting for the opportune moment for maybe when they know, consumers' interest will be interested in that specific type of movie, they'll hold on for it for a couple years or whatever, or maybe they don't want to compete with any other movie studios being released. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just holding on to that game. But it's like you said, they should have released it in 2018 if that was the case. However, I could also argue that maybe they thought the momentum was going to carry over with all the, huge games being released, especially towards the end of the year in 2017. Maybe they thought it was going to carry over a little bit more. I'm almost certain that they did think that it was, even though it was still good momentum, the Switch still sold well, but not as well as 2017 initially, anyways. Because then, towards the end, it sold just as much as 2017, anyways. But I think it might have been
right, but it should have sold more than 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it. I think. I think it did though, didn't it?
I don't know the exact
I'm
numbers,
not
but
sure.
I mean, we're all in agreement that
Yeah.
they had higher expectations and they didn't quite meet them. Not that it's bad, you know, they have great momentum right now, and then with 2019 they can easily make up for that. But I could, maybe what it is simply like what you're saying, that they just have it in the back burner waiting for the right time. And even though 2018 may have been a bit of a slow year, they sort of thought they would be okay, and it kind of fell below their expectations. And maybe it's not even just that. Like, even though maybe they could have just thrown in Pikmin, maybe they decided that just throwing in Pikmin to a time period that was a little weak for them wouldn't have been the best use of Pikmin 4, because maybe it wouldn't have done well in that time period, right? Like, maybe they want Pikmin 4 to be a summer game, and they already had a decent summer lineup already, so they didn't want to throw it in there, and they didn't feel like Pikmin would be a good time for, say, like, October. Like, they didn't think Pikmin 4 should be a good October game.
I just find it weird that it didn't fill the Yoshi spot, because Yoshi was supposed to come out this year and it didn't. And I feel like those are the same caliber kind of games, same audience, sort of, you know, very lighthearted, bright, colorful.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I do feel like the audiences are different, but because Pikmin's kind of like strategic, and Yoshi's kind of more like very casual. Like it definitely is for kids kind of thing. I mean, yes, platform, like if there's difficulty in there hidden in, but you know what I mean. Like Pikmin isn't for kids. It's not like super gritty and bloody, but it's not. I wouldn't call Pikmin a kids game. It's more of a strategy game.
Depends on how smart your kid is.
I know adults that will struggle with Pikmin. But,
yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm also one of them. But you know, it's I don't know. I don't know, but it wouldn't shock me if we still don't see Pikmin 4. Because 2019, there's a lot of potential games. Pikmin could be one of them, but I'm not super confident on that. So let's just figure out what's in January before we can move on. So I think the January, I'll say what I think, and then you guys can tell me if you guys agree or if anything to add to that. So I think the January Direct, for sure, we're gonna see Fire Emblem, Yoshi, and Daemon X Machina. I think that's for sure. Besides that, I think we're not gonna see Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon, but I think we might see one of them. And I wouldn't be shocked if they announce a HD remake or port or two. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see an announcement for a Skyward Sword HD or Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. Not both in January, but one of those two I think might happen. And I'm going to say we're going to see Animal Crossing at the end of the January Direct. I think that's what they're going to end it off with. That's what I'm feeling. And they'll probably say it's like a summer game or something like that. Somewhere between... It's going to be, I think it's going to be it's not going to be this fiscal year, so it's come after March, but it's going to come before E3. That's the period I think Animal Crossing would come out, and they're going to start drilling up hype for that.
Man, it's going to be so big. Oh yeah. My God.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be so huge.
I agree. I think they'll show off Animal Crossing, and I think they may announce its own Direct during that Direct as well. Because I don't think it's going to have a big E3 presence. It's just not going to show off very well at E3. Of course, they'll have it played in the treehouse, but it's going to need its own Direct. And if it's coming out in the summer, I feel like you don't want to have a Direct. At least not you. You probably want to have one more Direct, like before then, to show it off. Because I don't think the treehouse is a very good way to show it off completely. Because really, during the E3 presentation, it's not going to show well during that. You need its own Direct before then to show off what's it about, and then the treehouse can go more into depth into that. But they need something big first to go into it initially. So I definitely think it will get its own Direct before E3.
I don't think they'll announce the Direct in January.
They've done that during other Directs before for different games.
This is... I'm just nitpicking. I'm nitpicking your prediction here. Like, I do think there's going to be an Animal Crossing Direct, and I think it's going to come afterwards. I don't think it's going to come shortly afterwards. I think it's going to be a month or two. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah. Let me address the comments first before we get right back. There's a couple comments I want to address. I keep on getting a question about Smash Bros. DLC rumor. We've talked about what we're going to talk about for now. If there's any additional information, we'll have to you'll have to either say it later on at the end of the discussion. If not, we're not going to get to it at this point. Also, Robeer saying, I'm sorry guys, but I gave up. I don't believe in a Metroid Prime trilogy remake. And even though I brought it up as a possibility, I'm also doubting it. I'm doubting it, and it kind of... I think we're definitely getting something Metroid 20. I will bet lots of money we're getting something Metroid in 2019. I think it's more likely Metroid Prime 4 if it's nothing. And I think another point to note is that it would be weird to get a Metroid Prime Trilogy HD in 2019 and a Metroid Prime 4. Even if the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD comes out in, say, February or March, and we get Metroid in November or December, like, that usually doesn't happen. That would be... I'm not saying it can't happen, but that hasn't really happened before, unless do you guys know of any examples where we've gone, like, a port or a remake or something for a series, and then we get the newest entry of that series in the same year?
Not that I can think of.
But you know, with the Switch and how fast moving everything is now, I wouldn't doubt that they would do something like that.
It's not. I don't think it's out of the question.
Bring Federation Force onto the Switch. Let's go. Let's do it. It's not a joke. It's not a joke, dude. That game just needed a better audience. Like, okay, don't do it by itself. You need Metroid Prime 4 or you need HD, you know, Metroid Prime HD. But if they release that and they release Federation Force HD at the same time, I'm telling you that game will perform a lot better and people will like it more, because it's actually a really cool, unique experience. It just didn't have a chance.
For me, I bought the game. I tried to play with my friend. I tried to get the legitimate experience out of it, but we just kept on getting disconnects on the 3DS. So, I mean, if they can have a more stable online connection...
Yeah, because you know the Switch Online is known for being stable. Most stable online I've ever played on. No disconnects, never had one.
It's not bad with other games. Warframe, I've never really gotten... I can't think of a time I got disconnected on Warframe. Or Rocket League for that answer.
Disconnects are mainly Mario Kart, and then you got the lag with Smash.
I don't think I've ever gotten disconnected in Mario Kart either.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I haven't played a whole lot online.
Oh, yeah, I've played like 100 hours online. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart and Splatoon work fine. I mean, I think it's really just Smash that's the problem.
Yeah.
So, I think Federation Force could be... If they can get Splatoon to work, Federation Force would work, right? Like, those are similar enough games. So I'm not worried about that. And to answer someone's question, if Metroid Prime had multiplayer, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes had a 4-player split-screen multiplayer. It wasn't received very well, though, but it did have a That's the only one Metroid Prime game on GameCube that had multiplayer. There was also Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS. So, you know, there have been 3 Prime games that have had multiplayer in it: Federation Force, Prime 2, and Hunters. So it's not like the Prime series hasn't dabbled with multiplayer. So I wouldn't be shocked if Metroid Prime 4 has that either, to some degree, but I think the focus is going to be single player. But we'll get into that later into the discussion, because I think we all agree if Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year, it's a holiday sort of release, right?
Right.
Colo, do you disagree?
No, I thought a little bit about that. Like, they don't have to re-release Federation Force. They just have to... The multiplayer stuff that they had in Federation Force, just add it to Prime 4. You know, because I'm telling you,
like, adapt it.
I really dug it. Yeah, adapt it, because I really dug it, man. I think there was definitely something unique there, something very fun that just is completely underrated. You know, the experience that was. As far as what the game had to offer, not talking about controls. I'm not talking about, you know, the online. I'm not talking about the visuals, because the visuals were a little bit rough because it's a 3DS game. But if they would adapt that stuff, the game type of you having, you know, you can basically have a healer, a tank person, attacker, you know, and you can kind of make your group and just go into different scenarios and you know and do different objectives. That would be so cool if they added that to Prime 4. So I don't know, is it going to be a holiday release? If in 2019, probably. If they You know, if they decide to add all that stuff on it that I want.
I would really enjoy a Halo style multiplayer for Metroid. Because I love playing
like
Halo.
like a co-op multiplayer or like
no.
I mean
like I mean like when you go online, not the campaign, just like regular 4-player multiplayer in an arena.
Yeah, like a Destiny, Halo. Yeah, that would be really cool.
I think it's interesting because Cloak, I know you're really big on Warframe and Destiny, so I feel like your strong interest in that is definitely. I feel like that's a factor in why you want them to adapt that Federation Force gameplay. And I'm not trying to take away from the opinion. I just think it's interesting, and I like the idea of that. Like if maybe we shouldn't think of it as Federation Force gameplay. What if they were to add Destiny like gameplay into Metroid Prime 4? Right? Like maybe some people when they hear the name Federation Force they get like oh right, but if they hear maybe Destiny 2 gameplay style mode in there, people might be like oh that sounds cool, That's an option. And I mean, I just feel like if they did that, and it's not that I don't want it, I want it. But I feel like if they did that, they should also have, like, not just co-op, but also, like, multiplayer death matches, too. Like, I just feel like if you already have the system in place to do one, you can do the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... It's just a different mode, right? I don't understand it's a different mode, but I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have, like, for example, Federation Force could have also added split screen, like, death matches as well, because they already had the mechanics in place to do that. They just had to fight each other instead of help each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that it did. I can't remember, but I think it might have had something similar to that. Maybe it was just that ball game, that blast ball. But I think, I think you're right, and I think Nintendo at this point, before I don't think that we would think that they would do something like that, but after having games like Splatoon 2, where it's not, it's basically deathmatch, where you kill the other Splatoon, the other Squid Kid, right? So it's kind of, what's a step farther? It's basically just Halo, Right, and I think that they're more comfortable now to do something like that than they were, I would say, 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. No. Yeah. We're pretty. I agree. So, but let's just kind of reel it back before we move forward. So, I think I just want to come to terms on what we think we're gonna get in the January Direct. I'm thinking Daemon X Machina, Fire Emblem, Yoshi, and maybe an Animal Crossing reveal at the end, and maybe they might announce a couple more third-party ports. Maybe Persona 5 is one of them. Right, maybe, I'm trying to think of what else. I'm not sure what else, actually. Can't think of anything in particular right now. Maybe Overwatch is an option.
Wolfenstein Youngblood.
They haven't confirmed that yet, right?
Nope. Okay. They said they were open to making it, but they needed a permission.
Has Spyro been confirmed yet?
No.
That's another option. So those are potential options as well. And I think Skyward Sword HD could get that confirmation as well.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm thinking. Do you guys have any other ideas for what we could see out of January Direct?
Not off the top of my head.
What if? Okay, so here's another take. What if all the stuff that? What if there's no new game? Let's hypothetically speaking, there's no surprises for 2019. And everything that's been confirmed or that we think might be coming to 2019, as far as like heavily rumored or whatever, like a Wolfenstein Youngblood, or like Spyro, or Bayonetta 3 or Pikmin, all those games are fine. But what if that's all we got? I think it would still be more than enough. Yeah, I think it was just like that. I think it would be one of the best Nintendo years ever.
I can think of Do we want to just go exclusives or also include like ports that are a big deal?
Yeah, ports that are a big deal. Yeah.
Okay, so sure. I think we could come up with at least 20 names that are already in the conversation for 2019. So Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, that's a Nintendo Switch exclusive, right? And as you said last week, that's a big freaking deal, especially with Avengers, the Endgame coming out, right? Like that's huge. It's just like I didn't realize it at first. But that's a ginormous freaking deal. huge. It's kind of it's a steal. It's like, if you think about it, it's kind of crazy Nintendo got that. Like, I have to wonder if maybe the budget for that's just so small that it's not. That's why they got it. Like it's not gonna be that good of a game. Like
But I think the budget alone, in just the name, just like the trademarks, would be like more than like most games. Just in the trademarks to have all those heroes in it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and for those in the chat, it's not. We're not saying that there won't be surprises. I think I'm not saying. I think there will be a couple surprises.
I think the Nintendo president already said there would be surprises.
Yeah. This is just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, right. Like if we didn't get any, it's still
alternate
a great year.
Universe where we weren't going to get any surprises. This is what we're saying. Like an alternate universe, we know we're going to get stuff that we haven't heard of before. We're there because, like you said, they already said that. They confirmed it. But this is just speaking on. Let's just say in an alternate universe, they didn't have anything planned besides what we already know. It's still one of the greatest Nintendo. It's going to be one of the greatest Nintendo years ever.
Right. So let's just go over the third-party stuff first. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Travis Strikes Back, Mortal Kombat. Actually.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy, right? That's a big deal. So Persona 5 is rumored, by the way. So that's also kind of a neat little deal as well. In terms of other third-party major stuff, well, there's Doom Eternals. That's a big deal. I'm really happy about that one.
That's a huge
2019.
Yeah. Technically, Resident Evil 2 Remake is rumored for Nintendo Switch Pro.
No.
I don't know, but just bringing it up. What else could there be? There is. I'm definitely missing something. Missing a few things. So there's definitely a Dragon Quest game probably oncoming as well.
Just like 20 trillion Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy ports are coming. That's true.
Oh, gosh, the Final Fantasy ports.
A lot of them.
What are we gonna do?
The indie game.
Can I take half the year off?
Yeah, the indie game support is only going to continue. So the amount of indie games we got this year, that's still going to be a thing next year. It might even be bigger.
Right.
Might even be bigger. A Spyro game is rumored, right? So that's coming. Crash Team Racing is coming, right? At the Game Awards, there were more third-party announcements for Switch than any other console.
Did you already say Dragon Quest 11?
I said there would be some Dragon Quest game. I wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, there's Dragon Quest 10, Dragon Quest 11, Dragon Quest Builders 2, which come in Japan this year, but comes out in North America next year.
Yeah, so that's that's just some third-party games. Can you guys think of any others that have been suggested or rumored or confirmed?
As far as third parties,
I'm sure we're missing some, man.
Oh, we have to.
I'm sure we're missing some.
But those are big ones, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Doom. Those are big. You said Wolfenstein 2, like that's big. Mortal Kombat is big. Mortal Kombat hasn't been on a Nintendo system in a long time, and this is the main one. It's not a spin-off, which is if you count not spin-offs, It's been even longer. So that's it's really cool to see that's going to the system finally. So there's a lot of big third-party games in the works for the Nintendo Switch, which is really promising.
Hold on, what's Super Dragon Ball Heroes? What is that?
That's just
I think Dragon Ball Heroes. It's a Hyrule Warriors kind of. No, I'm thinking about
what?
Sorry, I'm thinking about Dragon Quest Heroes.
Oh my god, what's wrong with you?
Dragon Quest Heroes is a different game.
I think Super Dragon Ball Heroes is like a.
I don't know what that is.
I thought Dragon Ball Heroes is like a Japanese, not even Japanese. It's just like it's not available. It hasn't been available in America. I don't know if this is something new that's coming.
World Mission.
I have no idea what that is.
It might be finally getting ported over to the West. I think it's been around for a while though. If it's what I think it is, it could be something else. Yeah. So like Junior is saying that Super Dragon Ball Heroes is an old game. Yeah.
It's a remake apparently.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, but
it's a card game. It's a card game.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. That to me is like not a big deal at all.
But it's new. Yeah. It's new. It is a new game.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing here, Jimatsu is reporting on it. Okay.
Yeah, it's apparently it's a remake.
Okay.
Oh, Saints Row the Third.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's another one. I wouldn't be shocked if we finally got a Call of Duty this year, right?
Is it Dirt that's coming out? Or, no, Grid Racing is coming out on the Switch.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11. Did you already say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But yeah, there's definitely the third parties are getting better, and I think that the Game Awards, simply based off the Game Awards, the amount of announcements we got at the Game Awards for just the Switch is very interesting. And a lot of those games, they weren't like, hey, this is coming on Switch. Like, we didn't find out until after the fact. Like, for example, Mortal Kombat and Crash Racing. So we just kind of assumed that they weren't coming to the Switch, but they actually were. So it seems like developers aren't like, it seems like there's kind of like, it's being normalized. Like, third-party games are just going to be on the Switch now. So that's really interesting. Then going to like into exclusives. Well, we already mentioned Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but there's there's Travis Strikes Back that's coming, right? Then of course there's the Mario Deluxe games coming out in January, and then of course we have Star Fox Grand Prix. There is potentially Metroid Prime 4, potentially Bayonetta 3. Fire Emblem's confirmed. Yoshi's confirmed. Daemon X Machina is confirmed. Animal Crossing is confirmed. Luigi's Mansion 3 is confirmed. Pokemon Gen 8 is confirmed. Town is confirmed. Like that's something. That's something. Maybe Pikmin 4. Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. I'm saying probably. I don't really. I don't know if it's probably not. I don't know. I'm gonna say
probably not until that game. I'm just gonna keep saying probably not until that game is revealed.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if it's 2022, but like yeah, probably not.
But there's a lot of games. There's definitely a lot of games. It's just I don't even know if I mentioned Yoshi yet, but there's also that as well. So there's a lot. So 2019, there's plenty of games for Nintendo to release. But at the same time, not all those games, like Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 are not confirmed for 2019,
right.
So they may not come out this year. And even if they don't come out this year, this is still going to be a good year. But I think at least one of those is coming out this year, and I think it's possible that both come out this year. Possible. So actually, yeah. Where do you guys stand on Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4?
Oh, God. I think it might be one or the other. Just because this year is so stacked, maybe they want... I don't know how big they consider these games, though. Metroid, I'm hoping that they're considering it as a big title.
So let me just...
But what about Bayonetta 3?
Let me give it just a brief history lesson. Every Metroid Prime game that's come out has come out during the big holiday season time. It was a November or October game. We're talking about Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. They were always treated as like a Zelda or Mario in terms of time slot. In terms of time slot, and that was when they would come out. So Metroid Prime 4, I also believe is going to be, if it's coming out this year, it's an October through December kind of game. That is when it's coming out.
What about Bayonetta?
Bayonetta could come out earlier. Bayonetta could be like an August, September game, I think, or maybe even like a late summer.
Bayonetta 2 sold 500,000. It didn't make it to 500,000 on Switch, so...
Right.
I think maybe they might push that to 2020 to bolster like spring or something. Because 2020, I'm kind of worried because there's so much coming out in 2019. We might see another 2018 where it's kind of slower, and then 2021's the big year.
Maybe.
So I think they might need some titles.
But I'll tell you this: I think by 2020 we'll already know about the next mainline Mario or Zelda. One of those at least we'll know about by 2020, I think. But that's 2020. We'll save that for next year. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Metroid Prime 4 this year and Bayonetta 3 next year.
Okay. Where do you stand, Coloco?
I think I'll go opposite. I think I'll go Bayonetta 3 this year, Metroid Prime 4 the following year, because I just don't think that I don't think they're gonna put as much polish in a Bayonetta 3 than in a Metroid Prime. I think because to me it's like we just got a Bayonetta 2 game this year. It didn't really even light up the sales charts. It's not something that has the gravitas or the pull that a Metroid name has, and I think they want to make sure that the game that they bring out when they finally release a new Metroid Prime game, it's gonna blow everyone away. So I think that is still, considering we haven't got any info on it, I think that's still. If we get anything this year, it'll be Bayonetta, if not both, for 2020, I think.
Interesting. Well, I am Metroid Prime 4 Holiday 2019. That's what I'm at. Just, if you may bring up an interesting point. We haven't seen gameplay for Metroid Prime 4 yet, but, like, we didn't see gameplay for Mario Odyssey until, it was all revealed, announced, and it came out within a year of itself. Smash Bros. Is an even smaller time period, and those are the biggest games of the year, right? I think Metroid Prime 4, we're looking, it's a similar boat here. I think Metroid Prime, the 2019 is the Metroid Prime year. I think that, going back to all of the Reggie Metroid shirts, I think he was intentionally teasing something after, Coloco, you helped me see it last week, I think. You know, because I was like, oh man, you know, maybe I shouldn't really look at that, but I do think it was intentional. I think they are still drilling up hype and conversation about it. Metroid Prime was still like the most talked about game besides Smash Brothers going into the Game Awards, right? It just wasn't showing off, and I think the act of not showing it off gets us still talking about it, and people are going to get ravenous for it. So, you know, I think Metroid Prime 4 is more likely to be in 2019, but at the same time, I don't think Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4 are the same time slot kind of game. I'm saying Metroid Prime 4 to me is like an 80% chance to come out 2019 in my opinion, but I also wouldn't be 100% shocked if it somehow was a 2020 game, right? Like, I mean, for example, even if it is slated for 2019 in-house, it could be delayed, because if it is a big deal for maybe they want to really make it want to work, and it could be delayed. Same thing with Zelda. So, you know, that could happen. But I think that they internally, Nintendo thinks it's a 2019 game, and I think if everything pans out, that's when it's gonna come out later this year. And Bayonetta 3, I'm not really sure. Because it's being developed by Platinum Games, right? It's not an in-house Nintendo team, so it's a little different. But I think we are gonna at least see gameplay of it this year.
Yeah. I do think that Metroid Prime 4 will come out in 2019, because I think even though there's a bunch of stuff coming out in 2019, I feel like a lot of it there needs to be that one huge title, and Animal Crossing is big and it sells a lot, but Animal Crossing isn't the kind of game that you're gonna see like a holiday title.
Huge holiday title, not counting Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon. I mean, you're gonna get that, but Pokemon. These aren't the games you're gonna see in Game of the Year. These aren't gonna be like Game of the Year contender games. You need that Game of the Year contender kind of level of game. Like we had Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild in 2017. Specifically Mario Odyssey towards the holidays, and we've had Smash this holiday. There's not really any big, huge holiday type stuff announced yet for 2019, so I think they need Metroid Prime to fill in that slot.
What?
You know how many copies of Animal Crossing sold?
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Sales wise, it's huge, but I think it's a summer area kind of game.
11 million.
Yeah.
I think I don't think they're gonna do Animal Crossing and Pokemon in the holidays. I think Animal Crossing is coming out earlier. I think they're gonna space it out. I think that's one reason why 2020 is gonna be so huge, because Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing are like 3 of the top 5 best-selling like Nintendo franchises or something like that. Like they're you know, they're all really high up there. So you have all 3 of those this year. That's going to be huge.
Okay, just so people know, let me just read off some of these numbers. So, Animal Crossing on the GameCube sold over 3 million copies, which is big because the GameCube barely crossed 20 million units sold. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, which was not a real Animal Crossing game, and let's be honest, it wasn't like a real. So that was sold 3.5 million, which is okay. Animal Crossing City Folk for the Wii sold 4.64 million. Animal Crossing for the 3DS, like I said, sold 10.74 million, and Animal Crossing for the DS sold 12 million. Oh my goodness.
No, yeah, I know. Like, Animal Crossing sells huge, ridiculous amounts.
I think Nintendo feels very comfortable with their investors when they're going to have both Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. And I think they're going to want to space those out throughout the year. Like, Fire Emblem's going to come first, then Animal Crossing, then Pokemon. But there's going to be a few months in between them. But I still think that there's going to be another, like Brandon, I still think there's going to be a game next to Pokemon that's going to come out. And I think that's going to be Metroid Prime 4. Like, Pokemon might be the November game, and then Metroid might be the December-October game. I think Luigi's Mansion is going to come out like a month or so before that. And then, yeah, that's... I guess to order it out, the way I see the release of games, and just not like exact. It's hard to pin down the exact month, but I would say that first half of 2016, right, we're gonna see Daemon X Machina, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, right. Then somewhere between May and June, we're gonna see Animal Crossing, and then somewhere between June and September, we're gonna see Luigi's Mansion 3, maybe Bayonetta 3, maybe. Right, emphasis on the maybe, because it could. I could also see that maybe being a 2020 title. Star Fox Grand Prix is kind of the X factor here. I could see that getting a blowout at E3 and be another kind of game that's somehow shoved somewhere in there as well, somewhere in the year. I'm not sure when. And then somewhere in the October to December window. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to fall in there. Did I already mention Luigi's Mansion 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere between summer and like fall, right? And then Pokemon, it's November every year. Come on, like that's a really easy prediction. Yeah. And I want to actually talk about Pokemon for a moment because Pokemon Gen 8 is a new generation. We know that. So here's the thing: if you look at the dates of when the Pokemon games are shown off in the year, when it's a new generation, it's always shown off early, like January or February. Every year when it's a new generation. When it's just like a port or a remake, they show it off like in April or May or like a few weeks before E3. Mm-hmm. And so that's why like Pokemon Let's Go wasn't shown off till like around May, I think. Right? It was late. But it wasn't. It was a remake. It's a remake, basically, right? We're reimagining of Pokemon Yellow. Right. Pokemon Gen 8 is a new generation, and they're already starting to drill up the hype. So, even though I said there, I didn't mention any Pokemon for a January Direct. I don't think it would be completely out of the question to see Pokemon at the January Direct. But I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not just saying it's possible. I'm not saying that's my bet. I'm saying that Pokemon is going to be an early reveal for 2019. It could be a separate Pokemon Direct in February.
They'll talk about it early 2019, but I mean, with Sun and Moon, all we got was like concept art, and then we had to wait like a month or two, and then they showed off
They'll
stuff.
officially announce it, and then as the year goes on, a concept art, then the first trailer, then they'll start showing off different Pokemon every. But it's gonna be kind of like how Smash this year, they were like, oh, they showed different stuff. Well, Smash only had a few directs, but like for Pokemon, like every couple of weeks, they're gonna show off new Pokemon content throughout the year. Right. That's how they handle every generation. But you're right. Like at first, we may not see like a gameplay trailer. We probably won't see a gameplay trailer in January or February, but they will announce it. They will start giving us more clues as to what it is. So that's something to take into consideration. But that's kind of my overall like framework of how I think the year is going to work. I think we're going to get 3 or 4 DLC reveals for Smash Bros. Throughout the year. We're going to get Pokemon semi reveals throughout the year, but they'll start it off in January or February. Daemon X Machina, Fire Emblem, Yoshi are all first half of 2019. Animal Crossing somewhere in the mid. Then Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon, and Metroid could take up the second half. That's kind of like what my thoughts on this year.
I think that Animal Crossing, it's possible it could come out in May, but I think it's more June to July area. I don't think it's going to come out as early as May. It might, but I feel like it probably won't. I feel like if it's going to, I don't know, maybe if it was going to come out that early, maybe they would have shown at least some sort of gameplay at the Direct.
So, you know how at E3 2018, Nintendo kind of said they were only showing off things for 2018, but then they showed off Fire Emblem and Yoshi and Daemon X Machina. Like, what if those games are meant for this fiscal year? So that means they may all come out by March. I find it hard to believe that all 3 of them could come out by March, but I think at least 2 of those could come out by March, and then maybe Fire Emblem's like an April, late May sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I could even see it in May.
That makes sense.
I could even see it in May, but
I mean, it's possible Animal Crossing could get out as early as May, but I doubt it. I'm thinking June, July. I think they'll. Yeah, I'm gonna say July or like late June is when I'm predicting that.
Coloco, or I know. Where do you stand on Animal Crossing? Do you see it coming out earlier in the year, or is it more of a big holiday title? What are you thinking?
I don't know, man. I think middle of the year would be good for that. Like you said, Brand, like June, July, and I feel like Luigi's Mansion would best be put like in early October or late September. And then hit it with the last big game with Pokemon Generation 8. I think that's just in those 3 games right there. The momentum is going to be like gigantic with just those 3 games. Even if like there's like 2 months of separation between like Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion, and then have like a minor game thrown in there,
I think Town would probably be in between.
Yeah, Town or something. Yeah, that'd be perfect. I think that's it.
And those are all the confirmed games. I'm in agreement of the confirmed games. That's the window. That's like, I think that's the minimum we can expect, right?
I think they want to get Luigi. Maybe not. Maybe I think they could get in late September or early October. But they definitely want to get it around that spooky season where people are really getting into the
autumn
spooky stuff.
The autumn time.
Yeah,
when the
that's
leaves
when
are
that
turning
kind of
orange.
game's gonna sell the best during that time. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of weird to buy a
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion, you know, like when it's Christmas or something. Or
I think we're agreeing too much on this podcast. We need more.
All right. Well, then let's talk about something. So we all agree there's gonna be some sort of surprise. What's that surprise gonna be? I'm sure we all have different ideas on that.
Okay. Surprise for when exactly? There's a lot of surprises, I'm sure.
I don't know. Anything. What is there something that'll catch you by surprise that I guess in essence if it's a surprise you won't really know what to expect, but
Spider-Man for Switch.
Oh god.
Yeah,
That would be surprising.
That would be surprising.
Next we'll get Halo on the Switch.
What about Zelda? Like
I do
Skyward
think we'll
Sword
get
HD or
something
2D Zelda?
I think 2018 Zelda was a no-show. They gotta have something Zelda 2019.
Technically, I had that the
Hyrule
Hyrule Warriors.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like people completely forgot about that game.
Yeah, I agree with you. But didn't they say that? Oh, someone said that they wanted to release a Zelda game every year. Who said that?
Yeah, I think it was some higher up.
Yeah, which if that's the case, then it's almost.
It could be Skyward Sword HD. I mean, AJ Numa already said Skyward Sword HD on Switch, right? He said that at the Zelda concert. So like, I feel like Skyward Sword HD is the safest bet for any kind of Zelda game.
They've been messing around with Skyward Sword HD for a long time. So I mean, they've talked about it on and off, like mentioning it when they were doing things like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. They mentioned like, oh yeah, Skyward Sword HD is something we've been looking at, you know. So they've been looking at doing that for a while.
I got it. At least I got it with the idea in my head that I'm okay with. Skyward Sword HD this year, 2D Zelda next year, and then 3D Zelda the year after that. So in 2021 is when we finally get the next Breath of the Wild successor. But before that, we get a new 2D Zelda in HD in 2020, and then this year we get Skyward Sword HD to tide us over.
I think it's possible there could be a year gap there where they maybe throw in another remake or like port, or maybe they port Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD over, or something like that, or maybe they do HD versions of Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. Maybe if they want to really push that, maybe if they can't get the next big Breath of the Wild style game done in time for 2021, maybe they get that out instead and get that in 2022. But that sounds like a good time frame. That sounds like a doable time frame.
I think 2021 has got to be the year for Zelda, because like Breath of the Wild came out in early 2017, not even late 2017, early 2017.
Right.
So I feel like late 2021, like Holly 2021 has to be like a good time for the next
It's
Zelda.
Definitely enough time, especially if they use the Breath of the Wild engine.
Exactly.
What if they did a Link Between Worlds HD remake?
I heard a remake. I heard a rumor, of that, except it was going to be on 3DS.
I feel like remaking a 2D game is kind of.
Oh, I thought you were saying like a 3D like reimagining. I'm crazy.
No, just like an HD edition of that game.
I feel like they would just come out with a new 2D Zelda game.
I feel like if it's gonna be an HD remake of a 2D Zelda, if it's like 2D, you might as well just. It's like kind of like I kind of, you know, like for example, the Super Nintendo, all the games look great. Wait, did you say Link Between Worlds or Link to the Past?
Link Between Worlds.
Oh, that's different. They mean the 3DS game. Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, that's different. That's different because
that game would look fine if you threw it in HD and ported it. But I don't feel like, why would they? I feel like they would just make a new one.
Well, it didn't. I'm looking at the sales, and I'm just looking at like if I was Nintendo, and I had such an amazing game, like, and I'm saying amazing. I have never. I'll be honest. I'll be honest right here, right now. I've never played it. I wanted to play it, but I just haven't been able to play it. But that's supposedly, from what people tell me, it's one of the greatest Zelda games ever made.
I really enjoyed A Link Between Worlds.
It's better than A Link to the Past.
Don't do that.
By a lot.
Don't do that.
A lot.
I'll punch you in the face. Don't do
That
that.
was really creepy because right now I have you off camera because I'm looking at the sales numbers. So I just heard that voice and I'm like, "What is this?" Here. No, but it sold 3.5 million, and if it were to,
I feel like it should do better. It deserves better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like like Phantom Hourglass sold more than that. So like I feel like if they threw that on the Switch,
I didn't know that Phantom Hourglass outsold A Link Between Worlds. That is
Phantom Hourglass sold
Probably all those salty
$5
links to the
million.
past people.
that is a
Like, "Oh,
huge injustice. A Link Between Worlds is.
it's my
okay,
favorite.
it's hard to
2D
say.
Zelda game.
I don't know if I. Minish Cap is really good.
Minish Cap
Oh,
is
Minish
good,
Cap is
but
so good.
I
Yeah.
put
And
Spirit
then,
Tracks
and
over
then A
Minish
Link to the
Cap.
Past.
Sorry. Spirit Tracks is my second favorite 2D Zelda. It's really
Goloko, you were asking us to have divisive opinions and not agree. Well, Brandon, don't
Too
agree.
much.
Minish Cap is
We
my
gotta
third
be
favorite.
close.
Minish Cap is my third favorite.
Oof. But
It's
you're not.
Link
What about?
Between
But there's also.
Spirit Tracks
You know, I haven't played Link's Awakening, but that's supposed to be a really good one. And then there's also the Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which are also supposed to be really good.
I really liked it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's
I ain't never played that.
Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks are not considered to be good Zelda games. Like they're.
Spirit Tracks is a great Zelda game.
I didn't play Spirit Tracks, and I've heard Spirit
It's
Tracks is like the
great.
worst Zelda game. I've heard
No.
that. Yeah, that's what I've heard, yeah.
No. You know, Phantom Hourglass is the worst Zelda game, and it's still great.
I enjoyed that game, but it was not that good compared to other.
I
Zelda games.
I wouldn't say great. It's good.
Minish Cap has so much style and appeal. I would love it if they were to do like not a because Link Between Worlds is like it's like a 2.5D Zelda game. I would prefer if they were just to do like a stylized 2D Zelda game.
You know, Minish Cap is actually one of the worst selling Zelda games. I'm looking at this
don't know
list.
why.
It is the worst sell if you
That's
don't count.
fucked up.
Look, you don't. The only worst selling ones are Four Swords Adventures, which doesn't really count.
That's because nobody had the equipment to play that properly.
Zelda: The Wand of Gameleon.
Ah, Jesus.
Let's not.
That-
Oh no, that's
that's
not a
it.
Zelda game.
It is the worst
That's a
selling.
fake.
Zelda.
Jesus. So, I just want to. There's some people who have added me in the chat. I'm quickly gonna like go back just real quick. I think there's at least 3. So, guys, because we have a fair bit of like comments, like if you want to ask a direct question, if you add me, I can see like a little orange text, so it's easier for me to like go back to those. So I'm just gonna go over a couple before we go back to the conversation. DK Smash, he said Starlink could add Samus and her gunship for DLC. That would be cool. It would be interesting.
nice.
And if Metroid Prime 4 is like Nintendo's big holiday game along with Pokemon, maybe they want to drum up hype and maybe things like that could be an option. Like, for example, Silex as Smash DLC is another way to drum up hype for Metroid. That's a possibility. So I wouldn't be opposed to it, at least. Stab64, he said, Nintendo needs to step up their game on 3 Mario remakes. Yes, I was talking about Mario Sunshine remake, Sunday morning. Yeah, I had scheduled. I made the video like last week, but I scheduled it for Sunday. I would love to see a Sunshine remake, but that
Honestly, Nintendo needs to step up their game with the remakes in general.
yeah, their
Just
remakes are
'cause
not remakes.
They're just remasters, and they're lazy. I'm sorry to say it, but for $60, they're lazy as shit. I've used Spyro.
The best
That's
remakes.
$60 for 3 games in a modern looking, like Unreal Engine 4 looking graphics.
Yeah.
They got,
Imagine if they did that, but for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
you got Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, you got. I know Final Fantasy 7 remake's probably never gonna come out, but when it does, it's gonna be a full reimagining with modern visuals. Like, and then you telling me Twilight Princess HD is worth $60? No, come on.
It's not. Yeah, Nintendo's cheap, but they get away with it because they know what's going to sell. So.
Was it $60 with the Wolf Amiibo? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
You got it
it's
with
just
you got it with the Wolf Amiibo, so that's good.
Then
to
you
know.
get it for like $50, but Spyro's 16 has 3 games that are all fully remade.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Nintendo just sells better. It's supply and demand. If Nintendo can get away with it, they're going to do it. Just that simple.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's very true. And if Sony could get away, or not Sony, but Activision
Right.
could get away with a Spyro, I bet they would sell it at $60 a pop too. But they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Still annoying.
Exactly. So, Junior Nintendo asked me, how's the idea of Mario Sunshine taking place in the Splatoon world? It's interesting how Splatoon and Mario Sunshine share like a similar, like, not aesthetic, but there's some similarities between them. And what people always talked about how they're somehow related, but apparently it's just coincidence according to the developers. But it's interesting. I wonder if maybe subconsciously they were kind of thinking that. And then Sabbath, he said, I heard it's going to be sequel to Triforce Heroes. Yeah, there's a rumor that maybe, the Triforce Heroes team is working on the next 2D Zelda. Possibility. Possibility. And that brings us back to what we were talking about Zelda sales.
Right. I do think a multiplayer Zelda would perform really well on the Switch. just because I feel like it could, you know, with the single Joy-Con play and all this kind of stuff, and the focus on like couch co-op and stuff, that I think it would do really well.
So, yeah, I wouldn't shock me if we saw the 2D Zelda this year. That would be it would be a nice little surprise, you know, have a 2D Zelda game.
I think they might want to push it back to next year's because this year is so full.
It seems
it's possible.
Yeah. And Junior Nintendo, you are welcome, man. Yeah, guys, I love answering questions. So if you got more, just continue adding us. Gives us more to talk about. And actually, Jugs McGee just added me right now. He said, "I'm currently excited for Travis Strikes Back. No More Heroes. I feel it'll be overshadowed with Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 release dates." Oh yeah, but the thing is, those aren't on Switch, so it has that advantage.
Right. So
there's that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna give Travis Strikes Back a try for sure. Actually, so we're pretty much deciding what we're getting in the January Direct, right? Are we on a similar wavelength there? Is there anything you guys want to add to that before we kind of talk about the lead up to E3? Like, do you guys have any ideas on what we might see?
No.
I think that it's hard to even look at like a few months ahead, because it seems like Nintendo has led with like this recent way of doing their business, which is like, we'll let you guys know, you know, and like it's only like a couple months before, and then, you know, they have this huge news. So it's like it's like that span of where, you know, stuff is coming out, and for when you first hear about it, it's getting shorter and shorter. It seems like, I don't know if like they know that people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter.
I think they do. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's what it is. We're not gonna know what's coming out. Like, basically within the 2-month window, they give us a 2-month window. They update us like every 2 months or something. Like, that's kind of how it seems like, right? Yeah, definitely. So, actually,
because it's not just like what people look ahead, you know, for, but it's also like people don't also like are easy to forget. You know what we like. Really, the Switch is not even 2 years old, and look at the library that it's had so far. But it seems like people want to forget about all the games that we've had, you know, in the past 2 years. They're quick to forget that, and you know, I just think that it's not just attention spans like to look forward to games, but it's also like, man, you could play like all these great games, and like a month later, people are like, where's more games? Where's more games? It's like, come on, man.
Oh, they're coming.
Like,
they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming.
So, do we think Star Fox Grand Prix is coming out this year? Do we even think it's real? Because technically, it's not even confirmed.
Oh, I think
it's real though.
Yeah, I think it's definitely real. I think it
could be a fake rumor, man. It's just,
I don't know.
We know that they're doing that on purpose.
Eurogamer reported it though. If Eurogamer reported, I think it's based off real information. But just because it's based off real information doesn't mean it's gonna actually come out.
Right. I think this is a sort of Mario and Rabbids situation where it gets leaked beforehand.
I think the reason we didn't see it at E3, assuming it's real, is because Starlink had the Fox content in it, and they're saving Star Fox Grand Prix for this year, or at least to talk about. I think maybe if assuming it's real, right, and we were already getting information about it from last year, that means it's probably pretty far into development. So I would say the Star Fox Grand Prix has a high chance to come out this year. And on top of that, it's supposed to be what Retro Studios is working on. And it's been an extremely long time since Retro Studios has come out with a game. I think the last game they came out with, like full-on new game, was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Yeah,
that came out back on the Wii U. Back in, I believe, 2013.
Was it? Yeah, it was pretty early in the Wii U's life.
Yeah. Now, they did do the port, but all they did was they just made it in 1080p and they threw it on the Switch. Like, they didn't do much. They added Cranky Kong.
Oh God, that Funky Kong.
It took them. Yeah, I say Cranky Kong. They added Funky Kong. It took them 5 years to develop Funky Kong.
Yeah, they Funky Kong. It changes the game.
Yeah, he's God. So he's everything.
Funky Kong for every game. Any Funky Kong mode and all of every Switch game should have a Funky Kong mode.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to see Star Fox Grand Prix because it's
I
such
think
a
we'll see it
different idea. Like, I want to see how they're executing it because I know when it was first rumored, people were freaking out about it. It's like, oh, it's gonna kill all chances of Zero. Oh, it's ruining Star Fox at the same time. And I feel like it's neither of those. I feel like it's gonna be something that's gonna be a fresh take on the series, and people are gonna really enjoy it. Right, and I think it could maybe even breathe life into Star Fox series, and I think it's going to be so different that it's not going to eliminate the role of an F-Zero. That doesn't mean F-Zero will come. I do have a hope that we'll see F-Zero on the Switch at some point, but I don't think 2019 is that year. Right. Although, you never know. I feel like there should be a good racing game from Nintendo coming every year, because they have some good racing IP, like Wave Race, for example.
I think that's Star Fox Racing may be one of those games where, you know, every year they're all like, we're only talk about at E3 what comes out this year, but they always have like 1 to 3 games that they show off for the next year. I think it'll probably be one of those where they're just like, they'll show it off and it'll come out kind of early-ish 2019.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible that it could come out this year, but
there's just so many games. There's just so many potential games, you know? Like, it's gonna be hard for me to get them all.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the trick. But it's just gonna be hard for me to buy them all. Like, for sure, I'm buying Metroid, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing. I'm buying those 4 games. Luigi's Mansion 3. Those are 5 games I have to buy. That I have to buy. Yoshi is maybe. David X Bucky is a maybe. Star Fox Grand Prix. I feel like Star Fox Grand Prix is gonna be a must once I see it. I think that's gonna be one of those must-have games for me, for sure. That's what I'm thinking. And I definitely want to. You know, there's some interesting third-party games that could be coming to the Switch that I want to give a try as well. Oh, apparently Firewatch came out like yesterday or today on the Switch. Oh. Yeah.
Firewatch. Oh, that's such a great game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've been waiting for that game to come out on Switch now.
Oh, it's really good. I love that game.
It's kind of more like a story, right? Like I'm like.
Yeah, it's very story driven.
Yes, it's very simple. Yeah, it's very artsy.
It seems like it's the kind of game that like I could spend like a whole night playing, right? Like I get a friend or two, and we just kind of like play.
Yeah, for sure.
Together,
you could
right?
probably beat it like in 4 or 5 hours. It's that, you know, it's one of those kind of games that you experience, and you can play it over again and make different decisions, you know, and have it affect your, I think, the ending and everything.
Interesting.
But it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I was always interested in that game, but it wasn't available on a Nintendo system, so I held off, and now it's on the Switch, and it's available on the eShop. I feel like it's $20, but I don't know, so I'm gonna have to check. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So, you know, like, I mean, we were kind of just like spitballing ideas here. But let's, guys, because I guess we're not reaching the conclusion, but if you guys have anything you want to talk about or predict, put in the chat and, you know, at me so we can get to it, you know, so I guess we're in the maybe final quarter of the discussion, maybe, you know, around there.
Right. Until I bring something into the discussion that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, until then, for sure. Yeah, this could go longer.
That happens a lot. 10-hour podcast. 24-hour podcast.
What about a Switch Pro?
We haven't talked about that. You're right. We haven't talked about that. I think
that's a whole new can of worms.
I think it's pretty much. I'm very confident there's going to be a revision of some sort, but what is that revision going to be? It could be a super subtle revision that they may not even change the SKU. Like, it might just be like, you know, something they changed to reduce the risk of piracy, right? And that's just the way most Switches develop from now on. It could also be.
I don't think it is one of those, just because they've been planning that for a while, so they definitely are doing that. In fact, I think they already sent out new Switches. I think that was planned for this year. It was planned for like late this year, that where they were sending out new Switches that can't be hacked as easily. But it wasn't like publicly talked about. It's kind of
right.
people like
Same SKU. So basically, what I suggested already happened is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Majority thing.
Okay, so then, who was it that reported it was the U.S. Times? Who was it that reported that there was a Switch revision coming?
Eurogamer did.
No, someone else though. Someone else even more noteworthy.
Yeah.
There's somebody more noteworthy.
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and I believe that they have actual inside retailer information. Like that's based off real information.
But,
now, just that doesn't mean it
but the
won't
thing
happen.
is, like, if you would think if they had that information, they would have a little more than just to say it has a better screen. I mean, why would they have?
They didn't even confirm that. They said Nintendo's just speculate. They're not even sure what it. At
that point, there was no decision at that point from Nintendo as to what exactly it was going to be, but there were options. Like, they had a few options, but they hadn't decided on what exactly it was going to be, and the people and the manufacturers didn't know.
Yeah. So I really like what Jugs McGee just added me with. It's something I love the idea of. He said, in my head... Sorry, I'm dying. So he said, in my head, a Switch revision would be a dock with extra GPU power in to boost up the graphic fidelity of the games. That's my take, though. Then Sabbath also followed up. It'll be called a Switch to 4K. Like, that's, to me, what is the most consumer-friendly option to give us the better graphics without alienating anyone. Right, because it's just an add-on to your Switch, essentially, right? And on top of that, there needs to be a Switch dock with an Ethernet port. Let's be real here. Sure. If they were to release some sort of 4K upscaler dock that makes your games have a slightly more consistent frame rate and its upscaled resolution with an Ethernet port, I would pay $200 for that.
Yeah,
I would love it. That'd be great. But I don't think that's not what the Wall Street Journal is referring to. They're talking about the actual system itself because they're talking about a screen on it, right? But maybe that's also an option. Maybe that's in the cards. I mean, there were patents for a supplemental computing device at some point, so... And when the Switch was coming out, it needed to be said several times, the dock itself doesn't power up the Switch. So, it's in the conversation that a dock could come in the future that would power up the Switch. So I'm still rooting for the 4K dock upscaler at some point. I don't know if that's a 2019 thing. I hope it is, especially... I feel like it would be great to have that come out with Metroid Prime 4, because Metroid Prime is supposed to be like, Nintendo's graphical showcase. It always has been. So, if that's even if Metroid's not a 2019 game, whenever it comes out, if there's a 4K dock to come with it, I would love that. But I don't think that's what the Switch revision is. But before we continue the Switch revision, Coloco, Brandon, do you guys think we could see a 4K dock or something like that in the future? Ever?
Well, obviously, 4K dock it's not gonna be 4K. Well,
4K upscaling. Is that a stretch? 4K upscaling is not the same as running the games natively in 4K.
It's not. But I mean, maybe like some games could. I guess it depends on the price. I mean, if it's like $200, maybe. I don't know. 4K is a lot. It needs 4. So if you're gonna have 1080p to 4K, literally you need exactly 4 times the power. If you don't change anything else graphically to it, you need exactly 4 times the power of the original system pushing 1080p to get 4K. Now, if you want to upscale, any kind of good upscale, you're going to need to run at a native probably 1440p or so, which is double the power. So you're going to need at least 2 to 3 times the power of it to get a native 1080p game on the Switch currently upscaled to 4K nicely.
Okay, so what if it's maybe it's more reasonable to get a 1440p dock thing that what it promises is consistent frame rate. Whatever the game is targeting, it hits solid 30 or 60, and it puts it upscales game to 1440p instead with an Ethernet port. Always important,
right? I mean, that's
maybe some USB 3.0s that have high latency, because even with Smash Brothers, a lot of people are complaining that the Switch dock doesn't have enough. The latency, like in terms of like controller input, is not as fast as it was on GameCube. So maybe that could also be something they could address.
It's slower than the Wii. It's slower than the Wii U one.
So they do kind of need. So they do need a dock that has better latency, maybe better USB ports, an Ethernet cable, And maybe the main feature, I guess, would be a 1440p then, if that's more reasonable.
Right. I mean, 1440p is pretty reasonable. I mean, if you want to get I mean, I'm sure they could release a dock where 1080p games are native 1440p. That wouldn't be that hard. That's only 2 times the pixels. If you don't want to update anything else, you don't want to update textures or anything, that's not that hard for a dock to do, I don't think.
I think they could just call it like Dock Plus or something. Like that could be the name.
Yeah. Because
that would just imply that the dock just makes your games better, right? And it doesn't specify how much better. Because if they said 4K dock, then then if it's not 4K, then that's wrong, right? But if it's 1440p, or if it can be up to 1440p, for example, like games like Doom on Switch probably wouldn't be 1440p,
no.
But maybe it would finally get to 1080, right? And it would be a clean 30 frames per second, like no hiccups, like that. That might be something we could see happening, right?
I don't see Nintendo who doesn't focus on that stuff. I don't see them introducing a product now that will kind of, let's be honest, it will kind of muddle the principle behind the Switch. So wait a minute. So this dock, is it a separate game system? This is what we're not going to be asking these questions, but the average consumer that's buying it for their son or daughter or whatever, what does this dock do now? And why can't this dock do what that dock does? And then you're just muddying the concept of the Switch, and it's just, instead of having a clear, idea of what it is, now it just becomes a little bit more complicated.
Well, I think I see what you're saying, but I just want to add that if the messaging for the dock is easier because it's not called Nintendo Switch, right? The dock would be just called we know the dock is a separate thing from the actual home console, right? Like that's already established. I think
right.
If they were just to call it Dock Plus, the messaging for that wouldn't confuse consumers as much as if they were to say like Nintendo Switch Plus,
right.
Like if they were to release a system.
Plus, it's easier now that there's a PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. The market's already used to multiple versions of the same console with different power levels. So not only is the dock easier to market, but people are already like, oh, this is the same as a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X. Oh, I have those, or I've heard of those. That makes sense. Like it runs all the same games, and it plays and works with my Switch.
And since it's peripheral, it's not the same as forcing an upgrade with the system. Like I understand what you mean by that. It's not really Nintendo's game, but if it's like a peripheral, it's obviously only appealing to a smaller audience. But I think considering that some games, I think there's a possibility of it. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. I can also easily see Nintendo not go that route for what you're saying, because Nintendo doesn't always, that's not what they're going for. They're not going for the power route. But
I would prefer to see that, a dock, over a Switch Pro. A Switch Pro would honestly kind of piss me off, because I just turned in my beat up Switch. That's the reason, in my opinion, is why they're having a new version of the Switch come out next year, is because doesn't matter how long you test it, doesn't matter how many people you have Nintendo paid to come to Nintendo and play test their items. It doesn't matter. It's not at the same level as when it goes on sale and you have it in millions and millions of people's hands, and you really start to see the effects of what your console can take and what your console is actually made of. So that's why we got a bunch of Joy-Cons that are drifting. That's why we got a bunch of Joy-Cons that are coming off the rails. That's why we got a bunch of Switches that are cracking. Yeah. And see that's the problem that they need to fix. That's a problem they need to address. So I would be mad that I paid money to get a brand new Switch, and just a year later them say, hey, here's a more powerful Switch. It's like, what about all the people who let's be honest, they weren't on Nintendo until the Switch for the longest time because of what happened towards the last part of the Wii.
They want to be consumer friendly, because
they want to be consumer friendly.
Right.
So right. I don't think that's the right choice. If anything, I do think that the dock would be a better choice than that. But
if they have to do something, right? But if they don't, they may not have to do anything.
Yeah, and let's say or they could do both things. They can make a dock, and they can make a new version of the Switch that has just a little bit more internal memory, 64 gigabytes, a nicer LED screen, Joy Cons with metal parts where it doesn't slip on and off, or better made parts.
I think the problem with that is it sounds like it'll be heavier.
No, I mean what I'm talking about is like the little plastic pieces.
So a negligible difference.
Yeah, just very very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that could definitely happen. I don't buy this whole Switch Pro within the handheld thing. I think they probably will switch over, I think, to the X2, and it might be marginally better, but I think mainly what they're going to switch over to that is just because I think they can probably get that for the same price as the X1, which has way better power efficiency if you run it at the same clocks and stuff.
Just let me clarify for those watching, because some people might not know what the X1 or X2 is. Those are basically different variants of NVIDIA's chip, which is what's powering the Switch console. So it'll be a more efficient version of what's already in the Switch.
So the X2 is a lot more efficient, so you could have maybe it just improves the battery life. I could see them including 64 gigs of memory internally, but honestly, it might be more cost efficient to include an micro SD with it, because the internal memory is way more expensive than external memory. So you could just include, like, say, oh, this comes with a 128 gigabyte SD card instead of 32 for the same price.
Right, and it sounds, it's all well and good, but it's not at the same time, because like I was just at my friend's place. I have a lot of friends there that play Nintendo games. That a lot of them just recently got a Nintendo Switch. Like, a lot of people are getting Nintendo Switch this holiday season. So I just feel like the act of Nintendo announcing a hardware upgrade, even if it's not a power upgrade, even if it's just like a cleaner screen or things like that, that is like a superior version to the previous Switch, that's gonna piss people off. And maybe that's just a necessary evil. Right, maybe it has to happen eventually, but it's not. We're only gonna be at the 2-year mark come March into the Switch's life cycle, which is pretty early. I'm not sure how well it's gonna sit with people, but at the same time, right? While I am saying that, I think it's gonna piss a lot of people off if Nintendo does it, right? At the same time, Pokemon Gen 8 is coming out this year, and that is a game changer when it comes to handheld systems. Like, Nintendo may want to create a system, bring out the system that appeals to more Pokemon fans. They do it all the time with the 3DS and the DS and the Game Boys. They always come out with some sort of variant of their hardware when a big mainline Pokemon game's coming out. They always do it. Always. Because they know that there's going to be a major influx of players when it comes to a mainline new generation of Pokemon. And they create a different kind of hardware setup with their line to appeal to an even larger audience, to bring in even more Pokemon players. So, considering the Gen 8 Pokemon is coming this year, a hardware revision of some sort does make sense.
I think it makes sense because I think it fits. Having a battery upgrade would fit kind of more the XL slot instead of, like, the new 3DS kind of thing. Because handhelds, I mean, when did the XL 3DS come out? After the 3DS, like a year or two?
I have to go Google it.
It was like barely any time. And then, a couple of years after that, we got the new 3DS. So it makes sense. Like, I think people with
Switch is also more expensive though, right? Like, the 3DS is cheaper, so like it was a bit easier to create different variants. Like, I know some people kind of collected 3DSs. The Switch is a bit more expensive, so it's kind of like when someone buys a $300 system, it's like, okay, things change a little bit.
$250 when it came out, wasn't it?
The 3DS was $250, and they lowered it to $179.99 within a few months, because of poor sales, and they allowed the ambassadors program.
And the 3DS XL has come out at $200.
Okay, so question: if there's a revision, so let's say it's just a LED screen, better battery, just a little bit different, the way it's built, it's shaped, just a little tiny bit of a difference. Will you buy it if it's $350?
What are the perks?
I don't think it would be more expensive, to be honest.
You think it's going to be at $300?
I think at this point, the prices for the Switch ought to have gone down enough for them to keep it at the same price. X2s you should be able to get those for the same as X1s. you should be able to get storage for pretty cheap. Storage prices have gone down significantly since 2017. We've gone like the increase in storage has been tremendous, leaps and bounds year over year for the past couple of years. So I mean, we're getting 500 gigabyte micro SD cards, whereas when the Switch first launched, I think 256 was just coming out.
If there is a Switch revision,
it's the same price. If it's the same price, it's just it has a better screen, a little bit better battery, better storage.
What's a better screen? What would be a better screen? Like a 1080p screen, or just a better type of screen?
Yeah, like a 1080p, or just a better, more vibrant screen.
Just because none of the games would run at 1080p unless they made it more powerful.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think it would be probably brighter, maybe more colorful screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's better battery.
Better.
Yeah.
Better battery and it's sturdier.
Will you buy a second one, or will you turn in your?
I mean, if there's a good trade-in deal and I could just transfer over all of my data, I would consider that.
Right.
I would consider that, especially because my Joy-Cons don't look like they're gonna last for 5 years, even. That might not even last full too. It's weird. So.
What about you, Brandon? Would you buy it?
If I could get a good trade-in and only have to pay like $50-100, yeah, I'd get it.
I also think there's gonna be a price drop for the base. Oh
Switch. Yeah, if this new one's gonna be 300, there's definitely gonna be like 250.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a $50. Regardless, revision or not, there's gonna be a $50 price drop for the Switch in time for Pokemon Gen 8.
Okay, so let's do a hypothetical then. Let's say that there is such a thing as Switch Pro. There's not, but let's say that there is, right? And it comes out. It's $400, and it's just a little bit slightly powerful than a PS4, just the same power as Xbox One. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically.
Would you buy it?
Yes.
Metroid Prime 4.
Instant yes.
4K 60 FPS.
It wouldn't be that powerful.
No, it wouldn't be. 1440p 60 FPS. With an Ethernet port for faster internet connection. Yep. Probably would. Traded my Switch.
Honestly, yeah.
Especially
the issue I have with the Switch is that it's pretty weak. So I've been wanting.
My biggest issue with the Switch is the power itself isn't the issue with me. Although I'll say the games like Doom, kinda, and Wolfenstein are a little blurry, so it would be nice to not have blurriness. But I need an Ethernet port on my Switch. I feel like for whatever reason the Switch, it's not that I don't mind the UI. It's just like, for example. The Switch, I think one of the reasons why the Switch doesn't have like Netflix and stuff like that, it's because of the way it's set up right now. Like, we just got the YouTube app, right? I know we have Hulu, but like, you have to have only one app open at a time. That's kind of annoying. And I feel like part of that issue may have something to do with the RAM on the Switch and such. I'm not a super tech savvy, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But there's something about the Switch from a hardware situation I think is kind of limiting. So if they come out with a Switch Pro, it would be nice if that comes right out of the get-go. It has built-in voice chat, for online play. If it has, actual like streaming apps like Netflix and Crunchyroll, so we can use it. Things like that, along with an Ethernet port for consistent, fast internet connection. But those are things that I want, right? It's the graphics itself aren't the real issue for me. It's the other things, the quality of life things that are a bigger deal. But also more consistent resolution with like third-party games that have the dynamic resolution. That would be nice as well. And a better battery and portable mode would be nice. And if it also, with the assurance that it's not going to break down and die, also a good thing. Because my Switch now, the fan gets really loud playing Smash sometimes in portable mode. It kind of freaks me out. Like, I'm worried like it's somehow going to like break. Like, it's louder than ever before. I wonder if there's something about my Switch. It might be breaking down a little bit. So for all those reasons, I would consider a Switch Pro.
Compressed air?
What?
You got a can of compressed air?
Yeah, you might be able to clean it. It might be dusty.
No, I'm not talking about the Joy-Cons. I'm talking about inside the Switch.
Right.
I know. Yeah, fans when they get dusty, sometimes they'll get louder.
How do I compress? What do I do?
Just buy a can of compressed air. You could order it on Amazon and just it comes with a little straw. Or yeah, Walmart. It comes with a little straw. You just stick it in the little holes and just
like the little vent on top of the Switch. I just put it in there and nothing will break.
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
It's meant for cleaning like keyboards and.
I mean, as long as you're not like taking it, you're like. it's not working. Like
sometimes I'm worried that like someone will take the Switch and where the vent is, put it under a sink faucet, and just run the water into the water.
Jesus Christ!
About that.
I think about some disturbing stuff sometimes, but like that's like, you know, straight nightmare for me. I love my current Switch. I'd rather not replace it, but if I get the assurance it's not going to break down on me and it's just like a $50 to $100 trade-in value and it has all those little perks, I think I probably would do it.
I'm one of those consumers that likes to get their new iPhone every single year.
I'm not.
So I love new tech. I am super tech savvy. I love tech. Anytime there's new tech, I'm just like, I need this. I need to know about it. I need to own it. I need to use it.
Oh, I see Cloudy Mind Gaming is heading out. Have a good night, man. Take care.
Later, Cloudy. I don't think I will get a Switch Pro if it comes out. Considering I just traded mine in for a brand new Switch. If I wanted to play, if I really cared that much about graphics, I could play any third-party game on my PC.
What about Metroid Prime 4? What if that comes out and it just looks better on Switch Pro?
If it looks better, I don't care. I could play the same game on my Switch. You see, that's why I'm like, it for people like me, I won't care. I'm not gonna upgrade. And then there's people that are gonna be mad because they're not like it. But I don't think that you guys shouldn't, be excited for it, or
Right.
or shouldn't buy it if you want it. But for people that haven't been Nintendo fans for a while and literally just purchased a Nintendo Switch this year, let's say this holiday season with Smash Brothers, like I personally know a lot of people that have bought it. So it's like just a year later, oh, there's a new there's a new one out, and now their kids asking them for that. Those parents are not going to be too happy with that. Just like I imagine a lot of parents weren't happy when the PlayStation 4 came out or PS4 Pro came out, and does that make it okay for these companies to continue to do stuff like this? I don't know. Is that going to reflect later on? Is that like, yeah, right now they might have gotten their money, but what does that mean later on? The consumer trust break a little bit in this generation because of that? Because now parents are like, well, you want a new system every year now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the right thing.
I feel like the dock upgrade would be good.
I don't know. I think the dock upgrade is the best of both worlds. Like, you get the power, right? You get the little perks that you would like to see, and you don't really upset consumers. Like it keeps everyone happy. But that's the dream scenario, right? This is the real world. That's not how it always plays out. Hard to say.
I feel like the biggest issue that would require a new peripheral to fix, because like Joy-Cons are probably the biggest issue right now on the Switch, but you could come out with better Joy-Cons and you wouldn't have to have a new Switch. You just pop them onto your current Switch and be fine. They could just release metal Joy-Cons or Joy-Con sturdy or whatever the hell they wanted to call it. But that's something that need new peripherals. One of the biggest complaints about the Nintendo Switch is that it's fairly underpowered compared to the other systems. So I think there's a big market for people who want to see their games, not only third-party games, but I want to see first-party games look better than they do. I want to see Breath of the Wild run at a native 1080p with no frame rate issues. I want to see Breath of the Wild run at native 1080p with finding some freaking anti-aliasing. Come on, Nintendo, put those in your games. I want to see these games at 1080p or higher. I don't want to see games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't want to play that at 720p. Like, I want to play these games at a full 1080p with a stable frame rate. It's not even big. I don't play third-party games on my Switch, so I don't care how they look. I don't. It's neat for me to see like what the Switch can do, but I want a Pro or a 4K dock, for first-party games, because I play third-party games on my PC.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean I like third-party.
What did you cough? What did you?
I didn't cough anything. I don't know what to say. I mean, I thought graphics were.
Oh no! Stop.
Oh. I don't know. If it's not fun, why?
Yo, you're.
I think you messed up your
I think
mic.
you disconnected your mic.
You stacked your cord.
Yeah, you disconnected it.
What about now?
You're good. What did you say?
I said, just like Reggie says, if it's not fun, why bother? You know, it's like if that's the, to me that's what matters with Nintendo. It's the fun experience. Whether you know the pixels are a little bit brighter or better, I don't know. I don't think that's the focus that they should, especially with the message that Switch is, where you can play anywhere. You know, that's the biggest thing is that the games. That's the biggest focus that they've had so far, and it's shown. Like the consumers have reacted to that message. It's not like the Switch is like not performing well, and they're like, "Oh, guys, all right, let's see what can happen next year that can turn this around, or what can happen next year that can, you know, have the Switch start making waves that we need it to make." No, it's not doing that. It's actually breaking every expectation, and and that's following a design that's not what Sony and Microsoft is doing, which is all power.
I think a price drop is really all they really need to clinch like a brokenly amazing sales year. You get a $50 price drop, and all of a sudden, like they're really gonna start. Like they're already doing really well, but you get a price drop in there along with Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, and Pokemon. All those 3 games are huge sellers. Those 3 coupled with the price drop, I think, is them just taking it to the next level.
So this holiday we had Smash Bundle and Mario Kart Bundle for $300. So next holiday could be a Pokemon Generation 8 bundle for $250. Forget
Jesus.
it. Bro. Oh my god.
Jesus,
Done.
that's it. And especially,
I do agree
and
with
this Pokemon
that.
game could be like huge. Like so, let's talk about Pokemon. I think we should talk about Pokemon.
Right.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna make a video on this at some point. I'm gonna try and make like 8 videos in 2 days because I'm going on Christmas break. It's gonna be crazy. Just you wait. But one of those videos, right? Other people have talked about it already. But there is this speculation going around that Pokemon Plus and Minus are real. Now, you may not know what Pokemon Plus and Minus are, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. But the reason why we're thinking it's real is because recently, Pokemon Company put out a picture with a globe and a Christmas tree and Plusle and Minun, 2 different Pokemon in the picture. Now, you may think, oh, it's just a picture. That doesn't mean anything. Well, you'd be surprised because guess what? We were seeing a whole bunch of pictures of throughout the beginning of 2018 and the holiday of 2017. Eevee and Pikachu, all over the place. People just thought the Pokemon Go was just being cute, just putting Eevee pictures. No, they were teasing us for months without us really knowing that, hey, there's going to be a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So now, it seems likely to me that they're also going to be teasing something new, the next Pokemon game, subtly. And the reason why Plusle and Minun makes sense is because there was a rumor going back to like 2014 for Pokemon Plus and Minus. Now here's the thing, back in 2014 we didn't know what the NX was. I don't even know if the NX was a thing yet. Like within this rumor they were talking about a Pokemon game and a new system coming from Nintendo that Game Freak got an early dev kit for. And within this rumor they were talking about a game that had 2 different play modes. One mode that was meant for portability, and another mode that was meant to be on a stationary unit, right? At the time, it seemed like a really...
What could that be?
A really weird idea. But, you know, obviously now we know the Nintendo Switch, right? So it was very weird how that all panned out. And it talked about some advanced stuff for Pokemon. But the big thing is that if that's the case, that means this Pokemon game has been in development longer than any other Pokemon game we've seen maybe ever. So this could be the biggest, flashiest Pokemon game on Nintendo. It's going to be a fully designed Pokemon game for a home console. Yes, we got Pokemon Let's Go, and that was a huge jump. But that's just kind of more of them, like, you know, kind of tipping their toes into the water. This isn't the full-on blow, right? Like, look at the difference between Pokemon Sun, Pokemon X and Y, and then Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's a big jump on the 3DS. So imagine after they kind of get themselves acquainted with the system, and then they sort of go ham, like they just go all in. Like this Pokemon could be huge. Like this could be the showstopper, right? Like more so than any other Pokemon beforehand. So you have that, right? You have that Pokemon Plus and Minus is what we're now thinking. The leakers and rumorers and speculators like myself, like that could be this Pokemon game that's coming out this year. Generation
what
8.
else? What else was rumored? I mean, what any kind of features? Any gameplay features were rumored in that rumor? Or
Yeah, there were some. I would have to go back and look at them because it's been months since I've read it. But I think the battle system would be overhauled, and I remember one thing that said that, and this is vague, but the developers were finally going to be employing ideas that they've been wanting to employ for a very long time. And I think it all comes down to the hardware being capable. Like, just look at what we saw with Pokemon Let's Go. We actually see Pokemon roaming the game world, Pokemon following you around. Like, those are things that weren't possible before, and it wasn't because they didn't want to do it, because they couldn't. Systems weren't capable of it. So, you know, I imagine that they're going to be a lot more expansive. They're going to do a lot more things in the environment with Pokemon now in this game, and I do think that the battle engine is probably going to get overhauled.
okay, wait, I found it. Okay, I found it. So it says a few things here that were very interesting. Number one, Game Freak plans to completely overhaul the basic systems of battle, simplifying the process. I don't know what that means. 2, theme is old tradition versus new exploration. Okay, old tradition versus new exploration. Number 3 is more traditional Pokemon-like gameplay will be on the handheld controller. It's what you said. While on all new gameplay aspect will be on the terminal unit. Okay. The island gameplay with gym leaders and the Elite Four Island can be played entirely on the handheld and can be blown up on the terminal for home play. The mainland is an MMO-like environment. Oh gosh, that would be so amazing. That is exclusive to the terminal.
It's online, consistent online.
By both versions, yeah.
That would be the gameplay difference, yeah.
Gosh, that's amazing. Players all over the world can chat, trade, intermingle, and experience new updated storylines on the mainland.
Oh. So, here's the thing. Obviously, it's a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt, guys. But it's just the reason why it has so much credibility is because it basically completely predicted exactly how the Nintendo Switch works years before there were any rumors or conversations about it. That's what's crazy about it.
Right.
So it could have been real.
I do think some of the exclusiveness of the modes and different ways of playing, I don't think that. Well, I think that's kind of like.
Well, keep in mind, it's also
transferred from.
If it's real, it's from an early time of development, so things change.
That's what I'm saying. This is from probably back before they knew exactly how the Switch was going to work. I think it would be, you know, the same content, maybe some online features. Obviously, MMO features wouldn't be available unless you took it to a place where I had Wi-Fi. But I think, you know, you're going to get the same content, like you know, pretty much every Switch game, you're going to get the same content on the TV as you are on the go. I think that kind of notion that they were going to be like completely separate things were back before they knew exactly what the Switch was going to be.
Yeah. Hello there, Mastermind. We're simply talking about how there's this rumor that basically predicted what the Nintendo Switch was going to be 4 years ago, and now it looks like Pokemon Company is actually teasing that very same rumor because it's putting out pictures with plus and minus and minus, which are plus and minus, which goes back to the rumor, which predicted what the Switch was in terms of portability and having a console unit, and it's kind of crazy. When you look at all the details that it comes together, it makes sense. Like it's not. I just want to point out because I know some people might hear what we're saying and say, oh, they won't just post random pictures, like that's just probably a coincidence, but they literally did the exact same thing for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee this year that just passed, and the same thing with Sun and Moon before that. Like that company, the Game Freak and Pokemon Company, posting pictures hinting at what the next game is going to be months beforehand, they do that every year. So this could be real, and it'd be crazy.
We want to make Pokemon fans say, this is what I've been waiting for, by delivering a brand new product packed with gameplay elements and plenty of new Pokemon to encounter.
That's crazy. I mean, that also sounds kind of like someone who would want to create a fake rumor, right?
No, that's coming from Game Freak.
Okay.
That's
okay. This is what we've been waiting for.
There's also that rumor that they were inspired from like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, like changing it up the formula and stuff, and they were really wanting to put, you know, like completely change the conventions with Gen 8. Remember that rumor?
Yeah, I remember that rumor. Yeah, I don't know how true that one is, but I mean, if this other rumor is true, it makes sense. Another interesting thing about all of this is that the idea of the game being called Plus and Minus, and there's another thing about it that matches up really well with the Switch. Look at the Joy-Cons, Plus and Minus.
Right.
That's another coincidence, right? It's an interesting coincidence. You know, like that's a lot of there's a lot of different things. You have Game Freak now posting pictures of Plus and Minus, Plus and Minus, right? With the historical precedents that they always tease their next game with pictures like this, right? You have this rumor that predicted exactly how the Switch would work in terms of being portable and home console, right? You have even it referencing Plus and Minus being features, and that's what the Joy-Cons are, Plus and Minus, right? And then even what you just said from Game Freak, they want this to be the game that we've all been waiting for. And what have we all been waiting for? What has been the topic of Pokemon forum discussions all over the years since the internet was a thing, right? MMO Pokemon. And what makes this even more interesting, if you actually pay attention to the development for the Pokemon games throughout the 3DS era, each game kind of sort of expanded upon the communication features, kind of making it feel more connected, more open. That's always been a big focus for Pokemon, the connection between players. So like in X and Y, we had like the player search system, so you can play the game online and have your friends kind of in a lobby on your bottom screen always connected to you. Like it's kind of, and in Sun and Moon you have like this actual like lobby system where you can sort of run around and interact with people online as well. It's all kind of been building towards, in my opinion, MMO-like features. Now, I'm not saying full-on MMO, and I don't think Pokemon Plus and Minus is going to be full-on MMO, but I think it's going to have a lot of MMO-like features. You know, it might be a blurred line situation, but this is... Pokemon Gen 8 is going to be big, man. If you like Pokemon Let's Go, I think Pokemon Gen 8 in 2019 is going to be... it's going to be even bigger.
You'd be cool as if you guys, like, you were in the... Like, you had an MMO feature where people were being the same, world at the same time, and it could be like, you know, you run across a trainer and your eyes lock and you do a trainer battle. Maybe you could run around and you could just go up to somebody and ask them if they wanted to do a trainer battle, like with another real person walking around the map.
Totally possible. They've sort of dabbled with that in previous games to some extent. Like I remember in the Game Boy Advance games, you had this thing called a Union Room. Except before then, there was no internet on the handhelds, right? So what you did, you could have like up to like 20 or 30 people. Because with I think it was Fire Red and Leaf Green, they launched a wireless adapter for the Game Boy Advance. And with that wireless adapter, you can connect to like 20 or 30 people in this Union Room, and you could run around a room asking players together. If everyone was within the same area, within 30, 40 feet of each other, you could like talk to them and ask them to battle and trade, except of course what you're saying is a lot, you know, more seamless and natural, right, within an environment. But I'm just saying that like these are ideas that they sort of touched on in the past, but the technology didn't really allow them to fully capitalize on it. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the rumor where they said there's a lot of ideas that the team has wanted to try out over the years, but now with the technology of this current system, or this, well at the time, this next system, they'll actually be able to do it. So, you know, there's something happening here. Is there a video playing? You guys watching something?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was watching something Reggie was saying.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that...
That's weird that it played on your end.
Yeah, I could hear it. What is it? What are you hearing from Reggie?
Oh, it was mean. I thought it was something important. Like, stupid.
No.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think Mario's gonna be a big deal this year, guys. I said Pokemon or did I say Mario?
You said Mario.
I read something's Mario up on the chat, but Pokemon
Mario. All the Pokemon replaced with Marios.
Mario 128 fully realized.
Yes.
Yeah. So, guys, if you have any particular like things you want us to bring up, at me. This is, I think we're gonna try to end this podcast by the 2-hour 30-minute mark. We have 20 minutes left basically. But guys, Brandon, Coloco, is there? I guess if you could come up with 3 things that you want to see this year, or you most want to see. It could be things that are currently announced, already confirmed, or rumored, or just nothing we've even brought up yet. Like you can do it, but like. I think it would be cool if we can each talk about 3 things that we were most excited to see in 2019.
That that are not confirmed, that are not.
It could be confirmed or not confirmed. Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Well, in that case, I'll go first. Marvel Ultimate Alliance definitely is #1 up there for me. Like that's like I cannot wait for that. Metroid Prime 4, Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Switch. Those three.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Those three. If I get those three, I will be over the moon.
And I think Xenoblade X could benefit from a upgraded port.
Mm-hmm.
It would make a lot of sense.
I think recently the developer said something like they weren't working on it or something, like they denied it, but I don't remember exactly what was said, but they kind of brushed it off or something. It was more important. It wasn't like we don't have anything nuts at this time. It was kind of like, nah, we're not really doing it. I don't remember exactly what was said though, so I could be misremembering. But it was
I can't
something
speak to that.
akin to a deconfirmation.
But at the
Like they
same
didn't have
time,
plans, they weren't
over the
working on
last
it.
year or two, they've been saying, "Oh, we would love to get a Xenoblade Export on the Switch," right?
They have, yeah.
So I don't know. But at the same time, Xenoblade Export wouldn't be hard to do, right? So I.
No,
can
yeah,
see
they already have the Xenoblade Chronicles X engine running with Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do. I would love to see it, and I think there's some minor things they could do to really make Xenoblade X flourish on the Switch, like increase the font size for the text.
Oh, jeez.
That would make the game a lot better.
What I would have loved for Xenoblade Chronicles X to have is you already have a system where you can battle with your friends on there.
Mm-hmm.
There was this little online like
it was like an arena thing.
Co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why not have that aspect just in the world,
Right.
like kind of like Borderlands, where you can, it's not like a fully realized MMO, but you can invite like 2 or 3 friends and their scales in their party. So it's not like, it's not a whole lot going on. So even if it's just one other friend, that would be amazing.
It would,
If
yeah.
you and your buddy could explore Mira, like that would be great.
I would
Is
love
it
that.
Mira?
That's what I really want. That's what I was hoping it was at first, because the way they
Yeah.
sort of described the tutorial, because there's like another feature where you could like have like be on a team of people, right? But you wouldn't see them, but everyone would kind of collect the stats together. You guys, remember what I'm talking about?
I remember.
There were like these
it was
periods.
the most useless thing.
You had to
I
like
remember
kill like
using.
5 random monsters of those species somewhere else. Like I thought that's what they were talking about, but yeah, you have to go in and
Yeah,
redo it. Like, if
I've always kind of said like Xenoblade Chronicles X should have been like a semi MMO sort of
Right.
situation. It makes so much sense as an MMO, like the
Yeah.
whole story.
I mean, you don't have to
Why
get,
it
you don't
makes
have to be
sense.
crazy with it. You
Gameplay.
just have to bring in 4 people into the map.
Yeah.
Even the way where you have to grind to get your skills and to get your flying skills, it's like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, you can't just get like a mount initially in the game. You have to put in like 20, 30 hours before you could get your mount, and then your flying mount's even higher up than that. So they built this game similar to that type of game.
Xenoblade Chronicles X is like an MMO, but you can't play it online for some reason.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
It's
weird.
Great though. I mean, I love it, but
Oh yeah, I love the game.
So like,
Put,
what if
like,
they were to do
200
that?
hours into it.
What if they like? Here's the thing about like with Nintendo imports, like they never like completely change it, right? But like sometimes they'll add like a mode or two, and that's pretty much it. But whatever they do, like just maybe they can do this. Maybe they can make the game 1080p, solid frame rate, right? They fix up the font size. I think that's really important that they fix. They also make the map obviously seamless, like you just press it with a button, in your game instead of having to look at the gamepad. There's no gamepad now.
okay, real quick on that. Because do you know who Shadow Fox is?
Sounds really familiar.
Shadow Fox guy. He's always on the Terminator Juices Loose podcast. He's the guy. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He knows a lot about like tech stuff. And he like whenever you can't get into a discussion with him or like about tech, because he'll go off and start like just spouting that seems like gibberish. Like he says this. He says that the Wii U gamepad is it's the reason that Xenoblade Chronicles X would never work well on another system, and it's the best way to play it. And I'm like,
no,
look, man,
he's wrong.
no, like,
sorry,
look.
I don't care how smart you are. That doesn't matter. Like, that's just wrong.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's not because the whole thing of the gamepad of the Xenoblade Chronicles X why is it that much better? You like, okay, you have to look down and you got your map there. That's fine. But while you're looking down, you're not paying attention to what's happening on the screen. So you could be getting attacked by dudes. You have to go to a safe spot, then look down your pad. Where otherwise, the alternative is just to literally press a button to go into a map screen, like virtually every single other RPG out there. So
look, I mean,
don't understand.
Look at Breath of the Wild. It was initially designed to have the map be pretty much that. What happened in Xenoblade X, that's kind of what Zelda would have been. You would have had the map on the gamepad as you were playing in real time. And they changed it for the Switch. They changed that. So like,
I don't even think the Wii U version has the map on.
No, because they wanted parity. They scrapped it. They scrapped the feature.
It was the most retarded thing.
They scrapped the feature, and what was interesting, that was like one of the big things we were all talking about, was what Zelda you would have, because they gave us Wind Waker HD, which was
actually really good, because with Wind Waker you're not having to do much when you're sailing. It was easier. You could look down and back up with that, and you could keep going, because like in the original you'd have to pause, and it took so long to get there that
I think that would work with an autopilot sort of thing going on, right? And you think about it, the horse actually in Breath of the Wild had kind of like a semi-autopilot feature, so I wonder if they did that on purpose, because they did see how it worked in Wind Waker, because you could sail, I should say, for a while. That way you have time to look at the map. They probably change the horse AI so it would move on its own for a while, so you could focus on just looking at the map. That's probably a relic of that gameplay in there. Yeah. But anyway, but regardless, I think it goes to show you that Breath of the Wild was built around the gamepad as well, and the integration for the map in Breath of the Wild was probably even more intense than it was in Xenoblade X, and they transitioned it very well. We didn't think there was any issues with it. So, I'm sorry, Shadow Fox.
And Wind Waker can be played with a Pro Controller, and it has all that kind of touch stuff, and the map on the screen, your inventory on the screen. You can play with a Pro Controller.
Yeah, I mean, I just used him as an example, but there are more than people that say that, though. Like, that the gamepad was like, it's like, dude, it wasn't that great, because you only have two sets of eyes. You can't only focus your sight on one screen at a time.
You have to do one at a time. It's basically it. You have to do one at a time. So you just pull up the map, do what you want to do there, and you go back to gameplay. Because I'm sorry, I don't care what people say. It's just wrong. Because you did one thing at a time. So if you press the map to do what you would have done with the gamepad in real time, then you undo it and there. And actually, you can still keep it in real time if you want. In Dark Souls, when you're messing with the menus, you may not. It's in real time, so you can still mess with the map in real time if you want it to be in real time. So it really doesn't make any difference.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's one of the reasons why the Wii U failed, was because that was just a feature that was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. It was forced.
I think
just like in games like Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero, they try to make it work, and honestly, it's just not how humans are.
A lot of times, it makes it worse, because you have to render more things than you would if it was just on one screen. And so having to render like multiple viewpoints for Star Fox made it run way worse.
Right. And what's sad is that there's a really good Star Fox game inside Star Fox Zero.
The Switch is only really made for one person, and that's Tien Shinhan from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Not the Switch, the Wii U.
Yes.
That's it, because he has 3 eyes. He could focus one eye on the screen, and then look at 2 eyes on the... That's it. That's the only person that's really made...
It's like the controller was made for aliens with 3 hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was... I got a question at some point. Mastermind, he asked, is Game Freak going to focus on that new JRPG game or Pokemon Gen 8 next year? Definitely Pokemon Gen 8 is their main thing. They
have separate teams within Game Freak. Right. They have like different developers, like the people who make like
they're
Ultra
tiny.
Sun, Ultra Moon aren't the same people who made Moon and Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
they have different subsets.
Dude, they're like an indie studio. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Come on.
But there is no doubt in my mind that Pokemon Gen 8, don't get it twisted, that is the main thing. That is the main thing.
I'm sure the people who are made,
close.
Like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the same people who are making Town. Probably the same.
Maybe. That could be the case. And Town looks very interesting. It doesn't mean Town's not going to be a good game, but Pokemon Gen 8 is the big budget game for that is their main focus, but Town is their side project. But they're both coming out this year. They're both slated for this year at least, and I think both are gonna be fun. Yep. So
for my 3, because we were doing that.
Let's recap Coloco's. He wants Metroid Prime 4. You're excited for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Metroid Prime 4, and Xenoblade Chronicles X port for the Switch. Hopefully an enhanced port that does put some of those online features in real time with the friends in the game, that they could add like additional missions to do with your friends in the game. That'd be fantastic. Like at the actual world, I would love that. Maybe it'll happen. But yeah, Brandon, we're ready for yours.
Yeah. See, for mine, I kind of want to do 3 things unannounced and 3 things that are announced because I'm excited. There's just so much in 2019. You gotta, yeah, I think you gotta have both. So I'll start with just unannounced stuff. I would love a dock. I think it's kind of the best in between for people. You know, if you just got a Switch, well, you can upgrade. You know, to get a new thing, or
make sure it's got that Ethernet
if you're already happy. Right, if you're already happy with your Switch, well, then just keep on going, being happy with your Switch. But if you're like me, you want a better Switch, maybe better graphics, or Ethernet ports and stuff, then you can get that. Xenoblade Chronicles X would be great, but I'm gonna just to be different, I'm gonna say Skyward Sword HD because that would be awesome, and then Metroid Prime 4 coming out this year would be great. As far as unconfirmed things,
so Dock, Skyward Sword HD, and Metroid Prime 4 are your unconfirmed things.
Yes, and then my confirmed ones that I'm super hyped for, probably Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, and Fire Emblem. I'd probably put Pokemon over Fire Emblem, but we don't know exactly what that's going to be yet, so I think that's kind of, when I see that, I might be like, way more excited for that than I was for Fire Emblem, but I know, like, I'm going to like Fire Emblem. I don't know how much I'll like Pokemon yet, so I'm going to put those.
Okay. Alright, so, for me, you all know what it is. You guys know. It's Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4. It's the #1 thing in the universe. It's the solar system, in all of space. It's Metroid Prime 4. Like, that's what it is. I think it's going to blow our minds. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the best-selling Metroid game in the history of the series. It's going to, and that may not be saying much, but regardless, it's going to put Metroid on the map. It's going to push the Metroid series into the same conversation as Mario and Zelda. Finally, I think that's how big this is going to be. It's going to finally get the attention it deserves. I think multiplayer may be an option for that, but regardless, it's more about the single player experience, and that's going to just be this epic thing. Hold on a second. Hey, Danny, can you stop making noise, please, and don't make the dog bark? I'm doing a podcast. Thanks. I'm sorry. I need to get soundproofing. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Metroid Prime 4. It's gonna be that's what I'm most excited for. But I also, like you, Brandon, I would love to see a dock. A 4K dock would just make things incredible. But regardless, you either get a 4K dock or a price shop, maybe both. And I'm going to put something out there that we didn't talk about yet, but I've brought it before. It wasn't my idea, but I love the idea of it. Shifty brought it up, actually. So what if one of the DLC characters is a Square character, and it's Geno, like we all kind of want. A lot of us do. I don't think it's necessarily likely, but what if the Geno DLC character is announced along with a reimagined remake for Super Mario RPG in the Octopath Traveler engine? That would be something to be. I would be really excited for that in 2019 if that happened. That would be incredible.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I would rather get Chrono and get Chrono Trigger remade.
Either one would be cool.
But I mean, maybe I would like. I mean, I know more about. I never played Chrono Trigger, but I've seen playthroughs of it. So I kind of know what that game all is, but Super Mario RPG I've never played or seen a playthrough, so maybe I would want that just because it's a newer experience for me. But I really like Chrono Trigger, so seeing that would be amazing.
I definitely feel like we need another Octopath Traveler type of game in 2019.
Right.
Like it's
Square opened up a whole studio just for exclusive Switch content. So we gotta get something probably.
Even if it's a sequel, it's my game of the year. I love that game. If we get the same vein, or like you said, Super Mario RPG in this done the same way, or Chrono Trigger, oh, that'd be so amazing.
Yeah, either one, man, or both. Hey, what if we got both? That'd be great. Like, that'd just be cool. I mean, it would just be it'd be nice to just see Chrono Trigger, even just the normal game itself on the Switch on the eShop. That would be nice to have.
Was it on the? I don't think it was on the Super NES Classic.
It's not. It's not. I believe Super Mario RPG is though.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, those are gonna be discontinued. I have to pick one up before it's possible to get it. Yeah. One more thing. Mother 3. That's happening 2019. We're gonna finally get it. It's gonna finally be. We're gonna finally get that localization.
Oh, we got some people adding us here.
Oh yeah.
A little squirt says, how do you feel about Marvel versus Capcom 4 and how much it flopped, and if you think there's any chance for the series to still even keep on going? Oh man, that
game.
That was.
I wish I could speak to that, but I'm not sure.
I mean, I could see like if Ultimate Alliance sells really, really well on the Switch, I could see them porting over 4 or maybe like a trilogy, or just do 3, something. I could see them maybe continuing on something like the Switch if Nintendo wants to go that route, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if Nintendo kind of holds the kind of a little bit of exclusivity on the Marvel games.
Oh yeah, that would be very huge. I think, Andres, you have a couple of questions here for you.
Yeah. So first, Mastermind saying, I hope for a new Mario RPG or at least a Square X Nintendo game that's not another Fire Emblem game. Interesting. And I think that's kind of interesting going into what Sabbath asked. He says, a new Earthbound game with the Octopath Traveler engine. We talked about maybe Mario RPG being remade or Chrono Trigger, but what if they did make Mother 3 and it was reimagined, redone with the Octopath Traveler engine, and maybe Square helped out with the Earthbound game? And that's kind of like the Square Nintendo collaboration. That'd be really cool. I would like to see another, like the Octopath Traveler thing. Obviously, it's from Square. Nintendo helped publish it.
I think we would need to get Mother 3 in its more original position first for people who want to experience that game the way it was intended. Because like Chrono Trigger, you can go play that in North America the way it was intended. So a remake would be like, oh, cool for new people who want it.
The way Mother 3 was intended never actually happened. Okay.
Yeah, I mean on the N64, but the way it was initially released, like I feel like we need to get that just so people have that experience available before you remake it.
You may be right, but I'm just going to say I think most, like 99.99% of people will care not at all if they just announced a Mother 3 like 3D remake or something.
I agree with that, because it's like for the people that wanted to play Mother 3, that really wanted to play Mother 3, they probably already have on some kind of, you know, on some emulator or something. I haven't, because I'd rather not support that, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm part of that 0.1%, because it also, if someone, if they, even if they did announce a 3D Mother remake, I would be ecstatic to play that first. I wouldn't even care about.
I mean, and if it's the same story, like I feel like the reason you want to play Mother 3 is for the characters and the story. And if it's a reimagining, it's still gonna have the characters and the story, right? It's just gonna be, it's gonna just be housed around a better game.
There's gonna be people who are pissed off. There's gonna be a group of hardcore Mother fans who are gonna be like, this sucks.
3 people.
Yeah, it might not be that much. Me personally, I don't care either. I'm just saying there's gonna be people. Like it's not even me personally. Like I'd rather.
What would they? Okay, those people that are hardcore Mother 3 fans, if they didn't play, what do they want? Because if they played the emulated version, they already played the game translated. So what do they want? Just the translation that Nintendo would choose? It was basically the same thing. Maybe they would change a word here or there.
So I just feel like a Mother 3 localization, as much as it's been talked about over the years, in the grand scheme of things, is not that big of a deal. But a Mother 3 remake, in the vein we're talking about, and keep in mind, this is all speculation. Right? We don't know. But it would explain why there hasn't been a localization over these last few years, right? Like, why is it taking so long? Maybe because it's actually a whole new game. That would make sense. But aside from that, there's no real reason to think there's going to be a Mother 3 remake like that. It's just a cool idea. Like, that's just... I'm just saying, a Mother 3 remake is way bigger deal than a Mother 3 localization.
Right.
Like,
Otherwise, What reason? What reason do they have from now not localizing it? What is the reason?
No,
here?
there's a lot of people who want it though.
Well,
I'm not sure.
If
I'm not even arguing for myself. I'm just arguing for a fan base
right,
that
right. Well,
is ravenous for
what if that was the reason though? What if the reason is because they're actually remaking it?
Yeah, I'd be down for it. I'm just saying there's gonna be somebody out there who's not.
Right. It's just one of those things that, like, the Earthbound series is a cherished series from Nintendo, and they have a few characters in Smash Brothers. They're popular characters, but we haven't gotten a game from them in years, right? Like, I feel like the Earthbound series is a bigger name than Golden Sun, right? And I feel like there's a chance we might get a Golden Sun game in the not too distant future as well. You know, I'm just saying, like, is it really crazy to think that Nintendo would make a game on a franchise that hasn't been used in a long time? I mean, they do it every few years, so why can't it be Earthbound?
No, I'd love a new one. Or
a remake. Because the thing is that the creator doesn't want to continue the mother's story.
I get a new creator. I don't know. It's somebody else.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't have to continue the mother story. It could just be same universe kind of thing. Something else happening.
Well, I mean, there are games that are like of the same feel, right? So, but I got a couple more ads here, so let's get to them. Brandon the Stallion, he asked, how would you feel if we got the rest of the returning stage in Smash Ultimate so that we'd finally say everywhere is here? Everywhere is here.
Yeah, all 2 stages that didn't make it in.
I don't really think it's gonna happen. I mean, how would I feel? I think it'd be cool. I would love it.
I want Sector Z.
What are we missing?
Sector Z, which is the N64 stage. Then there's the Poke Floats from Melee.
Nobody wants the Poke Floats. Come on, man.
Everyone wants Poke Floats. Poke Floats is like one of the most requested stage. Poke Floats was hugely requested, insanely requested.
What if one of the challenger packs is a Gen 8 Pokemon, and it comes with a new Pokemon stage that is kind of like a redone Pokefloat stage, but actually good?
There'd be a lot of hype around that. That and Fountain of Dreams were before we knew what the stages were going to be, those were the 2 biggest requested returning stages.
Really? Well, I guess a lot of them were already returned in Smash 4 to some capacity. Like Corneria was in the 3DS one and stuff like that. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get. I mean, I said it. We have 6 open slots on the stage select screen, 6 open, and we're getting 5 challenger packs that each are guaranteed to have 1 stage. I think it's gonna be weird just to have 1 random open spot. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's like just another random stage that they add in at some point this year.
Right.
So Low Score Atomy said, "Isn't another Rayman game being worked on and possibly being announced for 2019?" I haven't heard about it, but that's just because I don't follow Rayman that much. Yeah, I mean, Rayman's a. Oh, if there is actually, that's interesting because if there is a Rayman game coming in 2019, that also makes sense as because Rayman could also be potentially a DLC character in Smash Ultimate, right? Definitely a possibility. So maybe, maybe. Them demo. What if they reboot the series entirely for the West? And I think he's talking about when we were referring to the Mother series. I would love it. I would love if they would reboot it from Mother 1, remake Mother 1. That's his whole game. Then we get Mother 2 and then Mother 3. That'd be awesome. That's 3. I would love it. I would be so down. Yeah. Or even if they were just like a trilogy pack, that'd be cool too.
That'd be amazing. Trilogy pack, all in the Octopath Traveler engine.
Low Score's asking, do they have a stage for Street Fighter? Yeah, there's a Street Fighter stage for Smash Brothers. It's the castle.
It's the stage from the Wii U version, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like the one.
They didn't add another one.
No, there's only one Street Fighter stage. Yeah. It's one of the stages at the bottom in the stage select screen. Yeah.
Then Demo said, "What if they reboot the series entirely for the West?" What does that mean?
He was referring to the Mother series when we were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, and then Mastermind asked, why not let Monolith Soft take care of the Mother series? I think they're doing a great job with Xenoblade series. Why not them? I feel like, I think I said this at one point and Brandon disagreed with me, mainly because they're both RPGs, but they're completely different kinds of RPGs. Like, Mother series is very like quirky, weird,
Yeah.
and Xenoblade is very like epic and grand.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
not the same.
that just it may not be the same, but that doesn't mean they can't do a good job of it, right? They would just be doing
Yeah.
something different. Like think about it, like Retro Studios did a great job with Metroid Prime, right? But they also did a great job with Donkey Kong Country, two completely different games.
Right.
So it
It's
doesn't
very
mean-
possible they could be good with it.
Yeah. So
It's
you
also
know,
very possible that they could not want to.
yeah, I mean, they talk about like what they like working with. They know they're working on another big adventure game already.
Yeah.
So
They're pretty stacked right now because they're working on the next Xenoblade game. They're working on that other medieval fantasy game. They might be working on a Xenoblade Chronicles export. So they're probably working or will be working on the next Zelda game because they've been working the last two Zelda games, Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. They had huge help in. So they swamped.
mhm.
I don't think they have time for a Mother game as well.
Maybe that yeah. There's other people who could do it.
Yeah.
And again, if they were to get the Octopath Traveler team in there, like there you go, right there, they could handle that. Of course, that would be they would be a working collaboration with Square Enix, but Nintendo's doing a lot of collabs these days, so I think it's possible. So Brandon Stallion asking, I feel like the 6th spot on the stage select screen will be for a page 2 button for more new and returning stages for more fighter passes. Totally possible. I think we all talked about earlier. We think there could be another fighters pass. So if there's another fighters pass, there's gonna be more stages. So they'll definitely go beyond those 6 open slots.
I don't think they'll have a page 2 though. Do they?
They could. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, they did on the Wii U.
They did, but they kind of segmented it for like DLC.
Yeah.
Custom stages and current stages, so they would have to reorganize the stages, I think, but maybe. South64, yes, I've played Earthbound. I haven't beaten it though, so I put in like 10 hours into it, but I was staying at a friend's house, and since I put in like 10 hours, I had to start over when I had my own Wii U, so I just didn't do it. So, but I might get back into it when I buy a Super Nintendo Classic, which I haven't done yet, but now I kind of probably have to because they're going to be just discontinuing them after the holidays.
Mm-hmm. I've never played Earthbound, but I've watched a lot of Let's Plays and stuff on it. So I know about I know all about the game. I watched Chuck Conroy's Let's Play, and if you know him, he goes through literally everything about a game. So I've seen 100% of what there is in Earthbound. So at least what they found, every secret, every glitch that they found so far. I know Earthbound. I've never played it myself though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Atlas could maybe do a good job. Yeah, I think Atlas could potentially take up that role, a mastermind.
Little Squirt asked me about Halo Infinite. Just because it's not a Nintendo thing, I'm just gonna answer like super quickly. But I feel Halo Infinite seems to be going back to the roots, and I like that they're going back to a Halo. And they're having split screen multiplayer again, so I have faith in them, but I don't know if it's going to be great. I'm hopeful though.
And then them demo said, I think the 6th spot is first stage coming with Piranha Plant.
They didn't talk about a stage.
No, there's no stage. I mean, there's no stage confirmed for Piranha Plant. So I mean, that would be.
It could be though.
That would be like a surprise announcement thing. There's nothing.
Another Mario stage though.
I don't expect that. No, I hope not. I hope it's something fresh and new. Yeah, so I think we're pretty much done. Is there anything else you guys want to predict or call before we call it a night?
No.
No, nothing at all. Well,
I make a prediction. We're all going to be a lot poorer in 2019. That's my prediction.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
Oh, we will be a lot poorer. That's for a fact.
Oh, I'm already pretty
Too many
poor though.
games.
My goal is to get more rich so I can get all the games coming. That's
Right.
my goal. So yeah, but it's definitely gonna be harder because there's a lot of really good games coming out this year. That's definitely true. So yeah. In terms, just going back to what we kind of like really want to see. I talk about things that weren't confirmed, but in terms of things that are confirmed, like Pokemon, especially after going over the plus and minus rumor stuff, that's going to be huge as hell. I'm kind of excited to give Animal Crossing a try again. I didn't play the 3DS one. I played the DS one. I enjoyed it, but I didn't, I don't know if you can finish Animal Crossing, but...
I mean, depends on what you want out of the game.
That's the problem. it's a whole existential crisis for me. But I'm definitely excited to give it a shot. I'm definitely excited to give Fire Emblem Three Houses a shot. And it's going to be a big year. And Luigi's Mansion 3, man, that's going to be...
I'm so hyped for that. Every time I think about it, every time I see that trailer again, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
Game's so good.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
So, yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end of the discussion, guys. I see Little Squirt asked, this would be dumb, but it never happened, but how would you feel about a Yu-Gi-Oh! Related character made in Smash? Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, no.
I
I liked Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, don't get me wrong. I had a whole bunch of decks and stuff, and I watched the anime. I actually rewatched a few seasons of the anime like a year ago. It was okay. It was better than I thought it would be.
Good?
It's okay.
Would I want to watch it, or would it be worthwhile?
I'm not gonna... There's so many other animes you should watch. I'm not gonna recommend it, so...
Probably. That's
But,
what I was thinking.
yeah. Alright, well, thank you so much for listening and watching, everyone. Thank you so much. Make sure to check out Brandon from What About Nintendo, Coloco from Nintendo Game Talk. The links to their channels are in the description below. Is there anything you guys want to kind of plug or talk about for your channels? Or anything?
I'm gonna be having a lot of videos coming out soon, all about, you know, I mentioned I have one coming out for the January Direct. I have some for even more. A lot of it's more in-depth topics that we covered, that we kind of talked about a little bit today. But it's all coming out 2019, my thoughts, a lot of unique stuff from what we talked about, but kind of going more in depth on these topics in my own thoughts. So look forward to that. It's going to be coming out soon.
Cool. And just to let you guys know, there will not be a podcast next Monday. Taking a Christmas break. We'll be going back home to Miami. But I am going to try to have videos come out, so stay tuned for that. Coloco, is there anything you want to talk about?
I did just release a new song. I used on my Coloco channel. I used the Riverlands track, the overworld theme for Octopath Traveler, and so I released a new song. So if you guys want to check it out, I'll actually just link the channel there
in the chat. Putting in the chat. It might be on live chat. Is it?
Okay, well, you just click on.
You guys gotta check live chat and not top chat. Yeah, you can check Coloco. Send me a link to it. Put it in the description.
Okay.
Put it real quick. Send me on Twitter.
Here we go.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let me add that to the description, guys. Oof. So yeah, I'm putting Coloco's second channel. That's where you can see the new music video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me double check that link works. Sometimes when I copy and paste things, stop it, stupid. Any of you guys have problem with like the description box when you like try to like move it around? It doesn't like stay exactly where you want it to be. No, just me, just my own problems.
No.
Okay, yeah. So the link does work. So yeah, the link to both Nintendo Game Talks channel and it's all Coloco, right? But Coloco's second channel is in the description as well. So check that out, guys. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much, and we will see you all in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks we'll be back for time for the New Year's, I think. So there will probably be some really big news, but you know we'll still be on the channels and stuff. So check it out. All right, guys. Good night.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.